All right, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Appreciate it. Thank you very much, Scott. I want to welcome everybody here, and we'll go over the agenda real quick. First, we'll start off with some announcements and some recognition of some of those in attendance, followed by reports, some of our sponsors, committees report, officers report, and then a very special moment later this morning, we'll have a little Q&A session up here on the stage with Don and myself and with Cary to give everybody a chance to ask some questions and things that are on your mind. We have some questions up here that I think will be of interest to everyone in attendance. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce the officers in attendance up here at the table. Myself, Brian Conley, Vice President, Mr. Cary Brown, Josh Deal, our Secretary, John Godwin, our Perpetual Honorary President, Mark VanDyck, our District 13 Director, Russ Libby, who will be incoming District 13 Director this November, and then, of course, everybody knows Don Rea, our Secretary of the PGA of America. Board members in attendance in the room, I'll call out your names: Mr. Nick Bales, Ryan Joyce, Scott Marr, Russ Riddell, Rashad Wilson, our South Chapter President Robert Long, North Chapter Mr. Justin Martin, Dan Merriman, Assistance Division President, and Jeff Kaneko, our Senior Division President. We do have some past presidents that are attending today. I'd like to recognize and welcome Danny Elkins and Mike McCollum. Thank you guys for coming today. And then I'll go ahead and turn this over and introduce some of our partners if they'd like to come up and say a few words to us. First off, from GT Golf, if Chris Orphey can come up to the podium.
Good morning, everybody. How we doing? Yeah, I'd like to getting up here and getting at it right away, but GT Golf is happy to be a sponsor again this year. If you're not familiar with us, please stop by the booth outside here, and I'd happily love to give you a catalog and all that good stuff. But if you're not familiar, GT Golf is grips, all the major grip distributor for Golf Prod, Super Stroke, Lambkin, Flat Cat, and Win. We also are a supplier of operating supplies, accessories, and as well as tournament options. So just real quick, we're happy to be a part of it. I hope that you guys are familiar with us, and thanks to all the familiar faces that already do business with us in the room, and we'd love to help anybody out further. So that's all I've got. All right, thanks a lot.
All right, from Bridgestone Golf, Mr. Dan Janton.
Thank you, Brian. Morning, everybody. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out today, and always want to thank Scott Gordon in the section for giving me the opportunity to be here. It's been a real pleasure working with them the past 6 years, and hard to believe I'm about to start my 7th year, but it's really great when we all get together. It's one of my favorite parts of the job is seeing all the PGA pros together in one setting. So thank you, section. I'd like to really just take advantage of having a lot of my buyers in one room here and just kind of do a State of the Union for Bridgestone Golf and kind of a mini quick sales call. I've kind of been hiding the last 5 to 6 months, so if you haven't seen me, it's been pretty tough. So we've had, all of us know about the supply chain. So Q4 was pretty tough without product coming to you. So my apologies there. And Q1 hasn't been any better, so if you're wondering where your orders are, I'm hearing from a lot of pros the last week or so, stuff's getting out the door. We made a CRM platform change, which really paralyzed us. It hasn't gone well. And then to top it all off, our shipping company suffered a massive cyber attack. And of course, it happened the week of our new Tour B launch, which is the most important product I offer you, other than range balls. So I've had some good movement the last week on range balls. So if you're wondering where your range balls are, I think we're getting there. And I'd just like to, invoicing. That was another Band-Aid we decided to rip off. And so a lot of your invoices are messed up. So my apologies there. Stay patient. The web portal's broken. So other than that, standing on the edge of a cliff for 5 months, and it's kind of nice to get back out. So thank you for your patience. It's going to get better. So you can't make this stuff up. So I'm getting back out on the road. I look forward to seeing everybody in their shops. To my non-customers, what I would ask of you is just entertain, as always every year, entertain giving me and Bridgestone a chance. Because as long as I'm working for Bridgestone Golf, I will ensure my company supports the Georgia section. We're a Georgia brand, and for you exclusives, we got all the UGA national title stuff approved, so I've got some stuff outside of, my normal stock products that could help you. And to my, those who have supported me for 6 years, helped me raise my family, because that's why I do this job. That's why we're all here. Just the biggest, warmest thanks. This has been the most rewarding 6 years of my professional life. There's nothing better that I've ever done than hang around with golf pros and sell golfers adult toys. So, love it. And then I'd like to make a special mention to my biggest supporter ever. The guy right here to my right. 21 years ago, I moved to Georgia, and the first friend I made is this man. And he hired me at St. Marlow, first golf job I've had. He's the biggest supporter of Bridgestone Golf there is in this state, and he's one of my best friends in life. And we're all going to miss Brian. It's a loss for the Georgia section. It's not the end, obviously, friends forever, but I just really want to, in front of everybody, thank Brian Conley for being who he is and all he's done for me, for Bridgestone, for all of us in this section. So thank you, Brian. Love you. And that's what this is all about. I love the family aspect of the Georgia section. I'm really excited to be a part of it. You get a chance, come on over. I got some catalogs, marketing materials, and just thank you once again for your time and support, and enjoy the day. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Dan. I got another page of this to get through, so way too early to start that. From Signature Golf, Mr. Matthew Barnes.
Thank you for having us back. To give you a little bit of idea of who I am, I'm a life member of the PGA of America. Quarter century, I got my membership here in the Georgia section over 25 years ago. Obviously, it's going to be 30 years. I've been a PGA member this year. Tell you a little bit about Signature Golf, if you don't know already what we do, but basically we're a luxury golf tour operator, but we can meet any budget. If you bring 7 members on a trip, whether it's a domestic or international trip, you're going to go free. Plus, we're going to pay you a 3 to 5% commission for the land package for bringing the members on the trip. And as you get more people on the trip, we're going to pay you more incentives. So there's a lot going on with Signature Golf. Obviously, with all the restrictions starting to rise, we're able to travel finally again. And I'm happy to say that this year, the commitment that we've made to Georgia section, we're going to double in the amount of sponsorship money that we're going to be paying out. And to give you perspective, when we started in the South Florida and Mid-Atlantic sections, we're now writing them checks for over $20,000 a year for sponsorship money. There's no reason Georgia can't get there. I know a lot of you, I know you travel. Let's get it done. So, give you some things we're looking to do. Right now, we have some spots left to the 150th Open Championship in St. Andrews this year. Starting out in Turnberry, 3 rounds in the Turnberry area, including the Elsa course, also Troon and Prestwick, then move over to Glen Eagles, then Edinburgh, and then go to the final round for the Open Championship. We have a lot of spots. We have about 10 spots left. Even if you just want to recommend some of your members that might want to go. So you'll be fully commissioned if you don't go as well. We'd love to have you. And guys, if you're ready for the video, we'll go.
Signature Golf is excited to move into a new year and get you and your club members traveling. 2022 international tee times are mostly booked up, and tee times for 2023 will fill up quickly. Now is the time to book your travel for the upcoming few seasons. At Signature, we understand the level of financial risk involved in booking most travel right now. So we have designed financing programs for your club members to help eliminate the risk for you as the golf professional altogether. To ensure you have peace of mind when making upcoming travel plans, Your members will enjoy reduced deposits, money back guarantees, future travel guarantees, and our new flexible payment schedules. Places like Scotland, Ireland, Northern Ireland, England, and of course our latest trip destination, South Africa. Experience the trip of a lifetime with our South Africa Wine and Golf Tour. 12 nights and 6 rounds of golf. In addition to winery experiences, 5-star safari experiences, and of course, sightseeing galore. From the moment you arrive on your signature golf trip, you as a golf professional can expect our dedicated trip representative to be waiting to answer your every question and assist you with any last-minute details or preparations. Signature Golf partners worldwide with the very best award-winning transportation companies so that we can offer you and your members the very finest in chauffeur services during your stay. Signature Golf's benefits for the golf professional extend beyond just numbers and logistics. We support local PGA sections with every traveler in our roster. The difference in our service is in the details. Contact your Signature Golf representative today to get started and take advantage of these exemplary offers.
Thank you, Matthew. Tyler is up here from Doubles Golf.
Hey everybody, good to see everyone here today. We're real excited about what Doubles Golf is going to bring not only to the section for professionals, but what it's going to do with the Gene Siller Memorial Grant, and I'm sure there's going to be more talk about that as we go along. If some of you I may have already spoken to already about the program, if you're not familiar with it, Doubles Golf it's a program founded by Jack Nicklaus, who we're partners with and real excited about. It provides an extra revenue stream for us as professionals through 9-hole recreational leagues, while in this case also giving back to the foundation, which is going to be the goal for Georgia, and it's going to be really good. So you've all been provided with, well, most tables have a flyer. If you scan the QR code here, it takes you to our website. Scroll to the bottom of the page, and you can schedule a call at your convenience at a date and time. Some of you I've spoken with already, and some I will continue to reach out to you here in the next couple of days and weeks. But we'd really like for you to give this a shot and talk more about it. And it's a good way to, like I said, get extra revenue, but also give back to this wonderful grant that we have here in the section that we're very proud to be a part of. So I really appreciate the opportunity of talking a little bit about Doubles Golf, and like I said, you've got more information in the flyer. I can't wait to meet everybody and talk a little bit more about it and make it work for you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Tyler. All right, Mr. Mark Priester from Golf Surprize.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to be here today. My name is Mark Priester. Just a little background. I've been a PGA member for 30 plus years. Most of it's been in the Southern California area section, and recently here in Northern Florida. I'm with a company called Golf Surprize, and we're very proud to be a partner with the Georgia PGA section. Let's see. Go ahead. Golf Surprize has 2 basic products. One is for the casual golfer, the social golfer. The other is for the competitive golfer with an established handicap. Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay. What Golf Surprize does is It takes an entry fee to get into the program, and that entry fee can be divided by a sponsorship, a charity event, a local tournament, things of that nature. All proceeds from that event for the winners will go back to that facility deemed and where you decide it's necessary. It could go to the golf shop, food and beverage. It could go to lessons for the professional. But all proceeds go back to the facility. Our first one is instant rewards, and just a brief summary of how that works. Your player will show up at your club. There will be a text message for them to text, and there will be a word for the day that the club decides on, and that will enter that player into the tournament. Now that player, that's all you have to do. Your staff isn't responsible for signing him up and everything. It'll be really to have the individual player do that. Now, that takes load off your staff. It takes a lot of load off of everything in getting the player signed up. The player will go out and play. 3.5 hours later, there'll be another text message back to that player. There'll be 6 questions with that player, and that player will answer those 6, and then he'll immediately receive a text message whether he's won or not. That player will win between $20 and $500 credit back to your facility. Those 6 questions can be designed by your facility to get immediate response back of how everything's going in your facility. So those proceeds go back with the instant rewards, and again, this is for the social golfer. Our next product is Target Scores. Target Scores is more for the competitive golfer. The competitive golfer is going to have an established handicap. They're going to go out and play a round. Prior to that round, they'll know a target score that'll be established off the handicap and the slope rating of your course. Again, they will win between $20 and $500 if they meet or exceed that score. Now, theoretically, every player can win this playing that day. But what we found is it's well within the margin of our estimate with the payout. And if it does, for some reason, ever go over that, Golf Surprise will cover the difference. And by the way, it never has. We got 26% of the courses in Australia utilizing this now, and they've never come close to meeting that or going over the pot. We're happy to be a sponsor with the Georgia section, and I look forward to reaching out to everyone in the coming days. And one other thing, we will be donating a proceed from every player to the Gene Stiller Foundation. But thank you for having me today, and I look forward to meeting everyone.
Thank you, Mark. At this time, I'm going to bring our Executive Director up, Mr. Scott Geary, to discuss our committees.
First, I just want to say thank you to all of our partners. We couldn't do it without you, and you heard it in a couple of their presentations that they are extremely supportive, not only of the Georgia PGA, but everything we've gone through. As we know, we were shocked, all of us were to our core when Gene was killed last year, and all of them that reached out, they wanted to help support that. So we're very, very thankful for them. If we could give all of our partners one more round of applause. And so I know in the past we've had all of our committee chairs come up and give their updates, and I will start by saying all of the committee reports, chapter and divisions stand as written, but wanted to highlight and really explain sort of the makeup and changes we've made on committee, chapter, and division ends. Last year at the planning session, we all sat down and came up with a business strategy that really fit where we needed to go. And one of the biggest things that came out of that was establishing some new committees, but also holding each other accountable. On each committee, we assigned a staff liaison. So that individual is in charge with making sure reports are done, making sure meetings are happening, being that resource for any of our committee members. On the same end, our committee members are holding our staff accountable. So really healthy that we're doing that, and I think we've already seen the great work pay off. So I'm just going to highlight some of our exciting news from our committees. First of all, our awards committee, we had a tremendous award ceremony at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I think anybody that was there enjoyed the venue. I will share that seems to work well with Mercedes-Benz. The Falcons usually aren't playing around that time, and it's right before the soccer season starts, but we're talking with them and looking, and just the time of that weekend really works for us. So we're talking with them and hope to return next year for our award ceremony. But for those who are in the room or watch the stream, to hear Ashley go up and accept the Professional of the Year award on Jean's behalf was astonishing. I mean, she had the room in tears. It's actually the first time I've seen her get up and speak, and she's tremendous. I mean, she never breaks when she's up there, and that's the first time I've seen her break. So it was truly an honor for her, and we were so happy to be able to honor Jean there. Education, our current education chair is probably on the Eiffel Tower. He is in Paris. But we're really leaning in on this with more education and trying to do as much as we can. We've set up monthly virtual seminars to provide education to you all, as well as working on kind of a library of virtual options that we're going to put towards the website, and everybody will be able to go and tune in there. But really, we are looking at an education seminar in the fall meeting. And so the fall meeting will be similar to this, a morning meeting with education, kind of merchandising in the afternoon, as well as the next day, merchandising and demo. So we're excited to be able to do that this fall. Our new committees, one is our Employment and Mentorship Committee. So I want to touch on just for all the committees really, but especially here, understand that these committees are there to serve all of you. So if you need any assistance, i.e. you need help negotiating a salary, you're looking for some mentorship and some guidance, we've got those PGA Golf professionals that are your peers put together for you. Our chair, Scott Schroeder, is leading that with Don Sweeting, our career consultant, kind of as our co-chair / staff liaison. But right now, as many know in this room, we're in a golf boom, and there's more golf being paid than ever, and we're all working harder than ever. And for many in the room, we're not getting paid for all that additional work and that hard work. So this committee is really focused on how can we educate our members on showing value to their employers. And that is their focus, and they're there to help. Having just gone through it, I think Brian would tell you that Don is excellent at educating you on how to show value to your employer and how to negotiate. So please utilize that committee. Our governance committee, with one of our past presidents as co-chairs, well, both past presidents, Brian Stubbs, Danny Elkins. Danny's in the room, and then Russ Riddell's a part of that. But we saw the success in having that committee. We adopted a new constitution at last year's annual meeting, followed up shortly by new bylaws as of January 13th that really set us up for 2 chapters. And thankfully we did those new bylaws, because now it set us up for knowing what the hell to do now that you're leaving. So appreciate all their work and everything that they're doing. They're taking a look at consistently evaluating our bylaws, looking at some tournament rules and regs, as well as our election guidelines moving forward. Our player development committee, their focus is on how can our members put more dollars in their pocket. Focusing on PGA.Coach, focusing on Junior League. One of the big focuses is going into 2023 with this meeting, having a teaching and coaching summit. And so we want to be able to provide those opportunities more, and we're so excited to have that committee led by our player engagement consultant, Doug Wert. And then 2 new task force, and I say task force because that's what they are. They live on the section level now, but really they're tasked with creating committees really for our foundation. But DE&I, Brian has found some folks who are not PGA members who are really passionate about seeing us lean into DE&I. And so we've got a task force that is being put together so we can focus on that on the foundation end. And then our foundation as a whole, we've proposed some new bylaws that will allow us to have board members who are not PGA members. And that's not taking away from anybody in the room, but if we want to grow our foundation and take it to where it can be, we need resources and networks and help that maybe some folks in here don't have. And so we're excited for that new foundation. We've got 2 verbals for board members that want to join our foundation, both of which have also promised $25,000 to the foundation. And so we're very excited about that and the direction that the foundation is heading. So those are our committee updates. I want to thank all of our committees, our chapters, and our divisions for all the hard work they're doing. I think if you talk to any of them, they'll tell you that we're as organized as we've ever been, and are being held as accountable as we've ever been. So with that, we'll move to officer comments, and I'll bring up Josh Deal.
All right, good morning. First off, I want to thank, again, all of our partners for being here. Again, it's with their support that we're able to do what we do and put this event on. So thank you to our partners. I want to thank everyone that's also here that took time out of their schedule to come and be engaged with the business of the section. So I thank you truly. Again, as Scott touched on, the awards banquet, it was a fantastic event. Obviously, the last 2 years have been a little different with COVID. We've learned some things, but it was great to get to such a venue as Mercedes-Benz. I think it highlighted what that night is. It's the biggest and best show and parade for our best professionals that we have in the section. So that's something we look forward to continuing going forward, as Scott alluded to. Also, as he alluded to, the new structures within the committees and growing out our awards committee, I think is going to be a fantastic addition that we can get more input from, whether it be chapters or divisions or different officers that are going to be helping with that, and obviously our staff liaison, Scott Gordon, who comes with the kind of the historical knowledge. So we are very excited about where we are going from an awards standpoint and look forward to another great event in early 2023. I'll be brief here as well, but I would like to take the time to thank BC for his leadership, for his friendship. I don't think I've actually shared this with you, and it's weird that I'm standing so close to you talking to them, but you know, your passion for serving this section was an inspiration and a model for me. Quite honestly, I wish I would have asked more questions at the time. But here we are today, and it's because of the leadership you have, and you'll do great things in Florida, and we'll kind of continue what you've set forth. So again, thank you, Brian, and thank you all.
Thank you, Josh. Now, Vice President, Mr. Cary Brown.
All right, good morning, everybody. Great to see so many familiar faces here in the audience. I love, this thing is not going to get up. I'm going to just grab it. All right, it's so great to be here in meetings like this because we get to visit and reacquaint ourselves with a lot of the great relationships that we have. Networking is a big part of what we do as professionals. You know, our association provides us with this great opportunity to be around so many qualified professionals, and it really is a pleasure to get to know everybody and see what you're doing at your facilities and how that can help us be better professionals at our own facilities. On the financials, if you read our variance report, it's awesome to see all the great information that's on there. Scott and his team had a fantastic year. It's pretty awesome to note that we actually voted on and approved a 5% of our current cash on hand to go into our reserve account. Can't remember the last time that happened. It's about $16,500, so congratulations, Scott, on having a great year so that we're able to move some of that cash into our reserve account. We finally sold the Roswell office. That went for about $262,000. With that sale, we were able to make our $250,000 pledge to the Ed Horb Golf Shop. So that is a big deal for the professionals in here who contributed to that and have made that happen. So again, thank you to Scott and your team for making that happen. The final part of that is the fact that, you know, through all these great financial gains that we've made, we're able to invest in our staff. And I think that's important for us to give the team and the ability to do that. So I want to give Scott a big round of applause. He's really made a difference in our section in just 1 year, and I can't wait to see what. And finally, I'm going to try to get through this without crying. Brian Conley and I met probably 15 years ago. We used to play a little golf together, Stone Mountain Golf Course. He and I were donators to all the great players that we used to play with. Kind of learned by trial and fire not to make those bets on the first tee because it was not profitable for us. You know, we've been through a lot together. I think a lot of that emotion came out when I was fortunate enough to win Professional of the Year a couple years ago. You know, I've been through a lot with my health. I think a lot of people in the room know that. And it was a very emotional speech. And it just means a lot to me that you were the person to give that speech. So, you know, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for doing all the things that you do to help us grow. I'm gonna miss you tremendously. So, with that, that's my financial report. Love you, Brian. Good luck.
My president's report, I kind of caught you up to date for last year down at Sea Island. Not a lot's happened other than my departure, I guess, since then. So this is more of a PA announcement. And if there's anything I can do to benefit you guys out there in the room and gals is to be maybe an example of what it means to be up here at this podium and at this table and hopefully have a chance to thank some people on the way. But to give you an idea, first off, the succession plan and what happened after my departure, which will be April 1st, is of course Cary Brown will succeed me as president through the appointment of the board at a special meeting after April 1st, and then of course Josh Deal has agreed to move up into chair as vice president, and then the board will have a decision to make. There's opportunity to appoint a secretary for those last 6 months. We've got some candidates who have identified themselves on the board to fill those shoes that would do an admirable job. Any of those guys, that's going to be a really hard decision to make, or one that maybe the board will choose not to make. That's going to be their decision in that room after that. But I trust that the board and Cary, under his leadership, will make the right and prudent decision. And first and foremost, you got an important election coming up this October to elect your next secretary and get this train back on the tracks that Brandon and I have derailed. For those who don't know, I've never made it to my actual presidency. I'm still serving Brandon's second year of his term, which would conclude this October. So this should still be Brandon Stooksbury's show, and I should still be in the seat next to him. But anyway, things happen, and we go from there. But as I mentioned, I can't express enough what it means to get involved and what happens to you when you start this network that we've talked about, and the network that you build within this business, up on this table, up in this stage, and then with you guys. You know, talent doesn't do you any good if no one can see you, all right? And there's a lot of talented people out here, and if you're doing it behind closed doors, then that's a shame that some people won't ever get to see just what you can do. 7, I think, maybe 8 years ago, Robert Duggar talked me into, I voiced my opinion quite a lot and put my mouth, or money where my mouth is, I guess, and ran for office. Through his encouragement through the pro to run for an at-large director 7 years ago, although he fired me 3 years later as a partner. Hopefully I get to play in a partner event with him in South Florida that doesn't transfer from section to section, so I get to see him again. But anyway, once I got on the board through Robert's encouragement, I met VA as a section leader, and then Brandon Stooksbury. If it wasn't for being an at-large director that time and meeting those two guys and their encouragement to run for office, I would have never got to see what Bobby Jones Golf Course really was from the inside. I got to feel the angst that we all felt in the room 6 years ago and realize that it wasn't warranted, that this was going to be a very special opportunity and a risk that I was willing to take coming from Lake Lanier, downtown Atlanta, to go open a golf course that had never been done before. If I didn't go do that, then there's absolutely no way that I would have met the likes of Don Rea and Seth Waugh and had Seth visit the property last June to basically, for Scott and us up on this board, kind of show off what this section has done. Little did I know that was kind of an audition. No one in West Palm would know who the hell I am or where I was if I wasn't downtown. So it's not connecting the dots. It's a pretty bold straight line that started 7 years ago, just having your support to get up here and to serve you as leadership. So I asked Brandon for his speech so I could just kind of, rehash it since it's only about 11 months old. He wouldn't give it to me, so I'm ad-libbing today. But, you've had two presidents in the last 2 years, as Scott said, go on to some pretty cool places. Metairie is an amazing golf course from what I hear. Seth Rayner design, and that membership is passionate about making it one of the best in the country again. And then, of course, what we're going to do down in West Palm is going to be very special for those of you that are paying attention to that down there. So no, we're not all bolting from Scott Geary and his leadership. We actually are very proud of Scott and what he's done and what's happened. And if anything, we should be poster children for what it means to advance in your career. If you can't get anybody to run for office after the career placement that has taken place on this board, I don't know what else you can do. So, and I'll leave with you finally as this kind of PA, along this process, at least especially with this West Palm project, what our association at the national level has done to put together a team of career consultants and executive search is second to none. I got to go through that process a year ago. From a hiring standpoint, we found Scott, and that was fantastic. And the work and the dedication that was done, where I met Don Sweeting and Jim West, Scott Kiemick, and that crew, just to see them and that process in the year. Now I was on the side of the person interviewing for the job down at West Palm, and how much had improved and how much more efficient it was. And to get to know Kathy Grayson down in South Florida. There are some incredible people on that team. Take advantage of that. Don't wait. I know we say this all the time. Don't wait till you're looking for a job. Reach out to these guys and gals. They are putting in countless hours to find the best jobs in the country for us, and to make the jobs that you're in even better. So I can't encourage everybody in here enough to reach out to Don when you get a chance and see what he can do for you. So anyway, that's my PA. I'm sure there'll be time for thank yous and goodbyes at the end of today, but I won't bore you with anything like that at this point. So I will turn this back over to Mr. Scott Geary.
All right, thank you, Brian. A lot of credit has been thrown my way as of late just now, and I want to make sure everybody in this room knows that it's not warranted, and this belongs to the Georgia PGA staff. I can't imagine for some of our staff who've been there as long as they have, to be going through a transition in this role and to not know me and be wondering and going and moving into a new office and really having question marks. What the staff has done this year to not only have a good financial year, but to lean into everything we're doing is truly incredible. So first I want to recognize our staff. I'm going to start with Scott Gordon, our Assistant Executive Director. Michael Rakowski, who is transitioning this year. He is still helping on the junior golf side, but our Communications and Junior Golf Director. And then our favorite in the room, we all love him, Mr. Batey, our Tournament Director. And Cary Brown, who has come on full-time with us now and is salaried. So Cary Ann, our office manager, there she is. And then as Cary mentioned before, we did invest in staff, not only in our existing staff, but adding new members. So I want to recognize the new members of our staff. Our junior golf manager, Mr. Tanner Higgins. And then our operations manager, joining us from the South Florida section. Apparently there was a deal, we're doing a swap, maybe some cash later, I don't know, but Mr. Dominic Smith. And then our new foundation manager, Miss Haley Estes. You know, I stood up here a year ago, and a president was leaving. And I stand here again a year later, and a president's leaving. And so I'm starting to get a complex that it's me. But, you know, we were at the national committee meetings in Frisco, And I walk into the room, and there's Stooks and Brian standing right there, and they're talking and giggling, and I go, man, it just felt like I walked into a room with two exes. But I do want to reiterate what Brian said, because they are shining examples of why you should get in governance, why you should join a board, what it can do for you, the network that you get. Brian talked about it. He got a chance to go through with Seth and tour Bobby Jones. You know, when Seth came in and said that, he goes, hey, I got 20 minutes. And then he was there for 2 hours. And Seth told me after it became official, he goes, I knew Brian was a guy right then and there. So the opportunities it can afford you and who you can network with and where it can take your career is enough reason to get involved. So I'm hoping at least one person in the room is listening to that and taking it to heart and wants to join our governance team. I won't walk through line by line of my report to give you an idea. Really what I did with that report is took our 5 strategies that we were focused on following our planning session. And then I spelled out what we're doing and where we've hit on all those 5 strategies. And if you do take a look at it, we're doing tremendous work already in Q1. So super excited about where that's going. Before I get into just some highlights, ask everybody in the room one favor. Just do this for me once. I know many are here just to get your points, and I respect that. But if there is one idea, one opportunity, one question that can be answered that you can take from today, please do it and take it on to another member. At the core, we are green grass, and that is the way we get better. So if you can take one thing from today, institute it in what you're doing, and then share it with another member, that's only going to make us better. So please do that. Governance, we talked about it. This is a focus of ours and always will be. It's our #1 strategy and priority. We've made tremendous strides there. Continually work on. Our foundation, I'm ecstatic for. I talked about Haley and hiring her, and so I will admit she is another former AJGA employee. You know, I'm not ashamed to say that. You know, there's a lot of good employees that have come from there. And actually, our former boss, mentor to both of us, is in the room, Executive Director Stephen Hamlin. He liked us both so much, he let us go. So we appreciate that, Stephen. But it's paying off dividends with our foundation already. I do want to touch on Gene Siller and where we're at with that. You know, I mentioned it before. It truly did, I think, shake everybody in this room to their core. We've all been at golf shops. We've all gotten a call of, hey, there's somebody out on the golf course, and can you go check it out? And that's really what it was. It was a wrong place, wrong time, and shook us all to the core. But from those ashes, we have grown into a tremendous grant in our foundation. I've talked about how strong Ashley is, and I can't reiterate it more. And her leadership and what she wants to do with this grant is incredible. But we are at $310,000 in the grant, of which we've taken $250,000 towards an endowment. And this grant is designed to provide $3,000 grants to young junior golfers. You know, one thing Gene always said to Ashley and his family was, I wish I could help more junior golfers, but I don't have time, and I gotta teach, I gotta give lessons to make some money. And so these grant dollars can not only help with tournament activities and junior golf initiatives, but they can help be a conduit between a junior golfer who needs lessons, an instructor who wants to give those lessons but needs dollars to do it. We can be that conduit. And so we have sent that out. The grant applications are coming in. It ends on April 29th, but we've received 4 grant applications already, with many more to be expected. But I'm just so proud of where we've come with that grant in 8 short months since tragedy struck. And Haley's doing fantastic work with it. We are looking at getting personal endowments with it as well. We have the GSGA, our partner upstairs, did endow a Gene Siller Memorial Grant for $60,000. So we took that, put it straight into our endowment, that $250,000, and it's only going to grow and pay dividends and be able to provide more help to young junior golfers. We do have, for those that played last year, we have our dates for our Gene Siller Red Pants Memorial event. It will be August 15th at Pine Tree. As you know, it is Pine Tree members paired with our golf professionals. So if you do have an interest, I know Haley's going to send it out in participating in that, please let us know. Excited to announce as well that we're partnering with the AJGA and our foundation on the Georgia Cup. Last year it took place at Atlanta Athletic Club. This year, thanks to our tournament committee president, our chair, Ryan Joyce, we will be going to Hawks Ridge, and the foundation is a benefiting charity of that. And the Georgia Cup is, I believe it's 28, 32 young juniors who raise dollars towards the ACE grant, AJGA ACE grant, and a local charity. And our foundation is that local charity, so we're honored to be a part of that. PGA Hope, we've gone from 5 chapters to 7 chapters, but that's not nearly enough. When you look at how many veterans we have the ability to touch within the state of Georgia, we're only scratching the surface. And so I thank all of our chapter leads on that and everybody who's involved. But really, if you haven't looked at doing Hope, really consider it and think about it. There is a training coming up very, very soon at Bobby Jones Golf Course. Some good news on that is Georgia got a wild card election into the Secretary's Cup. So we will have 4 veterans heading to Oklahoma to play in the Secretary's Cup, and we're honored and excited about that. PJ Works fellow, we're in the process of hiring that individual, and expect them to start in early May into the summer season. One thing I do want to mention just on foundation and still are our endowments. I talked about the Gene Stiller endowment and what we're doing there. We also have opened up and started towards an endowment of our entire foundation. And so we're going to try and work to have our money make us money. Those are both in investment accounts, but we're kind of holding off on the market right now before we fully invest there. So finances, Cary talked about it. We had a great year, and that I cannot stress enough is due to all the great work that the staff did and the board and committees did. We did sell the old office, which was incredibly, I think, a weight off of our shoulders to get that done, and allowed us to make good on our pledge toward the Deferred golf shop. So we didn't have to install payments or anything like that. We wrote a check for $250,000 for the Deferred golf shop, and I want to thank all of you who contributed to that and making that happen. And then, yeah, I talked about it, our reserves. We're super excited to add to that. I think it just sets us up well for health and stability moving forward. Staff, you've seen it, they're incredible. They're working hard. I'm honored that we are fully staffed. I joked with Brian, but I think we already might be outgrowing the office, so we're going to have to look at other ideas there, but that's a good thing, and we're excited about it. I've encouraged each and every one of my staff to look at how the section can help them in their career. So can we pay for some additional education? Can it be a Dale Carnegie? Can it be some more rules knowledge? Whatever they need. And so our staff is going to continue to grow and do better things. And then I just want to talk about 3 kind of updates and exciting news. Mizuno Golf will be joining the Georgia PGA as a partner. They will be partnering with us on the Atlanta Open, the Georgia Women's Open, and supporting our junior tour, as well as Pro down in December. So we're super excited to have Mizuno Golf back as a supporter of the Georgia PGA. Our Georgia Women's Open, you know, I have challenged Pat and all of our staff. We really need to lean into that more and do a better job with that. And I think, you know, through the partners of Mizuno Golf, and we are partnering with the East Coast Women's Pro Golf Tour to put on a joint event on our Georgia Women's Open. Last year, our purse for the Georgia Women's Open was about $10,000. With these partnerships, it should be about $25,000. So we're extremely excited to offer that and to add that. And then the last thing I'll say is starting in 2023, our Pro Scramble is going to become a 3-day event down at Sea Island. So very thankful for that partnership with them and to add another day moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. And before I introduce our next speaker, as Scott mentioned, if you take anything away from today's meeting, I mean, we've all seen it. You know, these meetings are now dwindling around 100, 95, 110. I think we had 85 down at Sea Island. I get it. We're all busy. Now information can be found at your fingertips through our websites and communications and everything. But those of you who've been in the room, some of us for 10 or 15 years, some for 25 years or so, the comparison of what this section is now doing and the trajectory it's on is basically summed up in that report. This section is being noticed. Don, I think, can touch on it. When the Georgia delegates walk into the room now, there's a different mindset that people have and an opinion of us. Get involved. Show up the meetings, find out what's going on, find out what can benefit you, find out how you can help out. I would love to see this be 200, 250 strong again, not because of points or for some MSRs or anything like that, but just because what this staff and what this board are capable of doing and will be doing over the next several years will be tremendous. So I hope that excites you. I hope that encourages you. Take that to your colleagues. Take that to your peers, those that weren't in the room today. And let's see if we can, get the attendance up so that we've got more people in the room. Unfortunately, I wasn't here long enough to get this down to one meeting a year, but I threw that grenade out there in November, so we'll see if Cary puts the pin back in it or lets it go off. So anyway, at this time, I'm going to introduce Mr. Mark VanDyck for our District 13 report.
All right, first, before the report of national affairs, I just want to, again, say thank you, Brian, for your 4.5 years here in the Georgia section that I'm aware of. Obviously, you worked in the chapters before that, but I got to meet Brian at the national level through the last 4.5 years. And as he says, a sweet goodbye here. It's a fantastic hello in South Florida. We are welcoming him with open arms, and we know he's going to make a great impact at the West Palm Beach Golf Park. My name is Mark VanDyck. I am the District 13 Director. Right. And I represent South Florida PGA. I currently serve as the Director of Golf at the Via Meisner Golf and City Club. It's a brand new startup Jack Nicklaus signature design course in Boca Raton. I was here in December during your Pro event. I gave you an update from there, so my update will be from that point forward. I will let you know, many of you in this room I have never seen before, so I look forward to meeting you at lunch before we head back and get on the airplane. As Brian alluded to earlier, we have incoming District 13 Director Russ Libby is with us as well. He is a North Florida Section golf professional, general manager and owner of Hidden Hills in Jacksonville. And I will be handing him the national baton in November at the annual meeting in Scottsdale, Arizona. But for now, I'll go ahead and give you a snapshot of what's going on in the world of national affairs. Over the last month and a half, we have completed 4 super regional meetings to determine who's going to be our next national secretary. This is the first process in where the candidates get the opportunity to meet all the national delegates, district directors, and of course fellow officers in a room, and they get to tell their platform of why they should be the next national secretary. It's also a great time for us to spend together as a district because we get to have some kind of alignment and who we think that our next secretary is going to be. And there's a lot of great conversation that's coming forward. Just to let you know, in case you don't know, there are 3 candidates for national secretary. Nathan Carnes from the Gateway section, Tony Martinez from the Northern Texas section, and Dan Pasternak from the New Jersey section. It's important to know that all 3 of these professionals have served as national board members. And they have all represented well at the first round of the super regionals. I think it's safe to say with the entire national delegation, whoever gets elected in this race will serve our association well. So we look forward to next steps there before November. Just a couple quick updates since the last meeting. With respect to PGA Frisco, our Chief Membership Officer, John Easterbrook, they're on the ground basically 24/7. Said the building will be complete in the next week to 10 days, and the staff is moving in sometime, hopefully at the end of April. The golf courses and the hotel will open simultaneously, hopefully in the spring of 2023. And quite honestly, the golf courses right now are actually playable, but we're not going to open it until the hotel is ready and everything else is ready to go. Okay, so members are going to have that opportunity probably in the fall of 23. After the senior PGA championship. Education is actually going to start in May in Frisco. The Education Center, which is state-of-the-art, is going to see balls flying out onto the driving range pretty soon. So it's starting to get really exciting there. The vision of Frisco is now a reality, ladies and gentlemen. And I will tell you, you know, obviously being national delegates and all that, Georgia section officers have had the opportunity to see the building. I know Scott and Brian were there last week. Obviously, Don and I are a lot closer to the project, Don especially. But I will tell you, it is a place where you're going to be proud to take your members from your facilities. Golf professionals are going to come over there and just be proud to be a PGA member when they walk in. I believe we're going to have some kind of other presentation later on with regards to Frisco, and I look forward to when you see that. We'll be more than happy to talk to you about it at lunch afterward, because it's going to be a great, great next couple of months as we unveil Frisco to the membership. I know there's been a lot of talk about deferred compensation. Deferred compensation came up about a year ago. It's actually been something that I know Seth and the team have been working on for a couple years. We're moving ahead to the next steps of this game changer to the PGA member. Okay? We have a hope that by January 23, we will invite some members to join a deferred compensation program, which has already been approved by the IRS. We are hoping that there's going to be program points regarding to PGA programs that we establish where a member does these programs. You're going to get points into a system in which you will earn X number of dollars per point. Again, funding will go out to 60 days after the end of the close of the fiscal year. And due to our continuing process with the IRS, we can't say specific numbers. But again, as I stated before, it truly will be a game changer for the association and the PGA member, especially those of you that are just now getting in the business, just getting your Class A's. You're going to have 25, 30 years to go ahead and take advantage of this fantastic program that's really going to really benefit you at the end when you retire. In fact, we were kidding last night at dinner. Don Rea was like, when we're 90 years old, we're going to borrow money from the young members in the association. So, but anyways, look forward for more to that, okay? Workday. Workday conversion is still a challenge at the section level. I know it is with many in the country. I will tell you, last week at the core committees as well as the board meeting, we spoke at length about the importance of making sure Workday rolls out as simply and as fast as possible, okay? It's really, really important that when we roll out Workday, that each and every member in this room and in the entire country makes it 100% user-friendly. We are not going to roll it out until that happens to the membership. Obviously, sections, it's a different story because it's a conversion that's in progress right now. As you may or may not know, Oracle Fusion, which was our deal for like 30 years, was just not doing the reports the way we needed it. Workday is our best option to that, and since there was going to be a migration in place, we needed to move. So we went with Workday, and we are almost done with it. I will tell you this too, we are going to do what we got to do. If we got to invest in the expense of making sure that there is a help desk that's available to each and every member, regardless of time of day, when you're using your Workday. If we need to do that, we're going to certainly look at that because this is really important. So look for more than that coming up. Moving on to properties, just real quick, Valhalla. I know everybody in the room has heard that there might be a possible sale of Valhalla. We are looking to sell Valhalla as we speak. The number one reason is, why would you want to sell Valhalla? Well, we have Frisco now. We have a 50-year lease with Frisco. We do not need Valhalla for the championships anymore. We have our own Frisco golf course for 2027 seniors coming up. We're going to have 2027 PGA. We got the senior in 23, and we got the KPMG in 25. So we got championships coming up at Frisco, okay? We have given authority to the staff, PGA staff, to go ahead, headed by our Chief Innovation Officer, Arjun Crowdy. He's going to be, and his team are going to be making sure that the value of Frisco is seen, and when we buy it, when the investor buys it, it's going to be at max price for us. So it's a benefit to the PGA members. It's important to you to know that the PGA member who is at Valhalla, all the staff that's there, as well as the Kentucky Section PGA, they will all continue the same benefits you're getting currently. So that is an important part, and that was a actual prerequisite for us for these buyers. Just a quick update on PGA Reach. In a phrase, we are growth focused, okay? Reach is looking to raise about $100 million over the next 5 years. We've got approximately $30 million right now, and we will get to hopefully $50 million by the end of the year. PGA Hope is at 4,000 veterans, and we're looking to create more participation to 10,000 veterans by the end of 2023. We are requesting 60 training sessions around the country this year nationwide so we can get more PGA members Hope trained. Considering the potential growth, the PGA member, you in this room, have the opportunity to be actually a full-time Hope instructor sometime in the near future. How cool would that be to just be able to be a Hope instructor as your job? You know, so we're looking at 7,500 veterans at the end of this year, and again, 10,000 by 2023. PGA Works, of course, is looking like we have facilities like Shoal Creek, Olympic Club, TPC Sawgrass, and Frisco to host PGA Works Collegiate Championships in the future. We now have an official brand for PGA Works Career Exploration called Beyond the Green. Expansion events under this brand will be held at PGA Championship, KPMG, and the Ryder Cup. There is also a goal to grow to 50 fellowships, both in section and industry, that will concentrate on areas of diverse population. Moving on to PGA Junior League. Last year, Junior League had 65,000 kids, and then the goal in the next 5 years is to get that number to approximately 110,000. Scholarships will increase with participation from about 5.5% to 10% if these numbers are achieved. Of course, a place to play, the fourth pillar of PGA Reach, is getting ready to open with the West Palm Beach Golf Park, of course, where Brian's going. The South Florida Section PGA headquarters is going to be footsteps away on the same property, and we will be working with all the PGA of America programs there with the West Palm Beach Golf Park. We are looking at other potential facilities under this umbrella nationwide. We're taking a look at Urban Golf Park in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where we're exploring a partnership with the Kaiser Foundation in the South Central section. Secondly, we are also looking at places like the Golf Truck. That is where City Swing, where Golf Tech meets Top Golf. We believe this relationship will attract specifically girls and women. So we're looking at that. We're also looking at Washington, D.C. and Chicago for other parts to do a place to play. As I stated before, there's a large amount of wealth out there that wants to help, and golf is a great connection to help us, okay? So again, we're looking to have $50 million by the end of the year and hopefully $100 million within the next 5 years. Now here's my big one, career services. I actually serve with Dave Schneider. We are the co-chairs of the employment committee, and I will tell you that with respect to employment, the entire board has agreed that the three biggest challenges facing our association right now in order are recruitment and retention, compensation, and work-life balance. The career consultants, Don Sweeney in this room and the other 19 in the country, are really, really working their tails off to make sure that you, the golf professional, gets a job that not only you want, but if you're in a current job you like, that you make sure you get paid for it, okay? As everyone's been saying up here, I know I hate to keep beating the same drum, this is the most important thing going on in our association right now, is ensuring the employment of PGA members. Because all these great things that I just mentioned about Reach really don't happen if we don't have the members engaged in doing these programs, and we got to keep our members in the business. Unfortunately, there's been a lot of things going on in the last couple of years with the pandemic and the extra hours working that we all pat ourselves on the back and we pat our teams on the back, but sooner or later some people get burned out and they decide to go on and do something else or decide not to get in the business because they're not getting paid enough. Whatever the reason is, we are working on it hard, and that is our number one focus at the employment committee level. Executive searches are up 152%. Career consultants have made an immediate impact for the need of more resources. I, along with Dave and the employment committee, have been speaking to the board relentlessly about making sure that we get the help they need so they could benefit you, the golf professional, because in my opinion, there's no other bigger benefit than having that job, one you want to keep, and one you want to grow in. Our voices has been heard as in November the board of directors did approve a regional model, which is now in implementation. We have 7 regional managers that are going to oversee all the certain districts, and some of the districts unfortunately had to be mixed up because of geography, but the bottom line is there's a lot more boots on the ground for recruitment, for player development, PGA Junior League, and specifically career services. Just to give you a quick idea on career services, 50% of all active members in our association are engaged, which is good. The compensation impact on the jobs that have been found for these PGA members is over $5 million, which means the compensation to the members on those jobs is up a little over 11% on the average. In recruitment and career services, we've had 1,700 new leads in the last 9 months. We are working vigorously to try to make sure we continue that trend and get it even higher. At the PGM universities, we are making sure that we talk to every single student there that that wants to get out of the business or doesn't want to even finish their school. We need to find out why. And when we find out why, we're going to be able to address it and keep them in. It's a shame when you get a 4-year PGM graduate that gets out and decides to be something else besides a golf pro or something in the industry. And we are determining what that's going to be, and we're going to make a way to fix it because we've already captured these people. They want to be golf pros, okay? They want to be golf pros. People in the associate program, they want to be golf pros, but when they get out of the business, and the number one reason they tell us is it's the work, the long hours. I don't get paid enough. I have to work every weekend, and I have children. I understand all of that, and we are addressing that. Assistant pro compensation is a huge, huge, huge problem in our association. In fact, I was just talking to Nick from PGA National. He's looking for an assistant pro. You know, he's got a very good compensation package here, and the fact of the matter is he's only got one qualified candidate in the last month or two that's applied. This is the reason why this in-person engagement right here in these meetings is so crucial to the success of our association. There's an opportunity for Nick to meet all of you, and there's going to be engagement and networking here, and there's an opportunity to probably get 2 or 3 more candidates just because you know somebody that might be perfect for that fit. This is where I go. We say, this is how we help our career consultants in the employment committee, all right? Organic growth within our own members. Each and every one of us is responsible for helping a fellow member out, whether they need somebody to work, they need somebody. Do you have any ideas of who you think would be great to recruit into the business? All that stuff needs to come online while we're going through these challenges right now, because this is going to be a challenge that's going to last a long time. It's not just here for a couple years. I think it's going to be a lifelong challenge. And every committee on the national level, I believe, is going to have to address recruitment, number one, and retention, making sure we get members in, making sure we keep them in. In the next 5 or 10 years, a lot of our members are going to phase out to retirement, and we don't have the members in the pipeline right behind them. 20 years ago, when I got into business, I quit a job and take a 60% pay cut because I get to go work at a golf course and get paid for it. That's not the mentality today, ladies and gentlemen. Today it's, hey, listen, I just graduated from college. I got bills to pay. I want to be a golf pro, but, and we're addressing that. We're addressing that the best we can. So I just want to let you know that was the big part of my speech, and I hate that I might have taken some of Don's thunder, but I just wanted to make sure that you all knew the importance of what the employment committee is doing and everything we can get done. We're also working on sections to host pro official events where you bring your owner, operator, your president of your board from your facility into a section pro official, and it's an education summit/seminar, if you will, where we at the section level will be able to tell the owners of all of these facilities the value and the importance of the PGA member to make sure when your contract comes up for a renewal or when you need somebody to help with the existing operation, you're going to be able to hire competent staff at the right pay. We don't own the jobs, ladies and gentlemen, but we are the jobs. We are the association. We are the tangible connection, as President Richardson says, between the game and the industry and the member, the person, the player, okay? And it's really important that you get that message out to everybody. Gone are the days of saying, hey, you know, it's long hours. You need to tell the word. You need to tell the story that the PGA professional is valued as the most important person at the facility. Even on top of the general managers, because if you're at a golf club and you're the director of golf or the head pro, you're the reason why they're coming out to play golf. You're the reason why they're spending extra money in food and beverage. You're the reason why they'll pay big money in dues. You're the reason why they'll pay big money in daily guest fees if you're at a public course. Make sure you show your value when you're there. In closing, I'd like to just say again, it's been a privilege and an honor to serve you as your District 13 Director. I will tell you, I will be here in October for your annual meeting, and then again, I go out in November. Russ Libby comes in right in after that. And last but not least, District 13, which is North Florida, South Florida, and Georgia, is the largest district in the country. We have over 4,000 of the 28,000 members in this district alone, okay? One of my goals when I was elected was to align our district, and I believe we've done that over the last 2.5 years. And I look forward to that continued unification. More importantly, I look forward to the leadership of Cary coming on, along with Josh, and of course, your great executive director, Scott Geary. What can I say about Scott? He arrived here just a year ago. I got to meet him for the first time. We played golf before the last annual meeting last year. You get to know a lot about somebody on our 18 holes of golf, and I knew right away as soon as I played golf with him, before we even got in this meeting, that he was the right guy for this job. Scott, you've done a great job considering all the curveballs been going your way. You know, obviously the 2 presidents leaving, and then of course what happened with Gene, and it's been a privilege getting to know you. That being said, I'd like to be able to say in closing that each and every one of you, again, it's important that each and every one of you tap people on the shoulder, let them know that the PGA golf professional is the most valued person in the industry. And if you do that, I really believe we can organically grow our membership to where it needs to be and have a bright future tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark. All right, for our player development report, if I can have Mr. Doug Wert.
Good morning, everybody. Great to be here with you and to be your player engagement consultant for the Georgia section now. Happy birthday, Don. Yeah, great to celebrate that with you. But I first want to start with saying thank you to a gentleman whose shoes are going to be really hard to fill. I got to mention this about him in the fall meeting at Sea Island, and I want to recognize him here. And that is Daryl Batey, who is retired as your regional league manager. And Daryl, just want to say thank you for everything that you've done, my friend. You've been an amazing mentor to me, and I just want to say thank you very much. So, like I said, it's great to be here and be part of your section now. And I wanted to just share a couple things about myself being new to the section. First of all, just share with you, I was born in Pittsburgh, grew up in the Woodlands, Texas, and I currently live in Oxford, Alabama, which is 30 miles from the Georgia-Alabama state line, right on Interstate 20. Just great to be closer to home. The past several years I've been serving in the Mid-Atlantic, Tri-State, and Western New York sections in this role, so definitely happy to be closer to home, and I know my wife is happy that I'm closer to home. So it's just great to be part of it. I went to Mississippi State, was actually in the first class of that program. I'm not going to say what year, but had the opportunity to serve there and go there and learn from some amazing people. And then I also have an MBA from the University of Colorado. I've been very blessed in my career. This month I celebrate my 30th year as a member of the PGA, and I've served in every role: assistant professional, the general manager, even had opportunity to serve as a director of a PGM program, the University of Colorado Springs. And as I mentioned, the last 3 years I've been serving in this role in the Mid-Atlantic, Tri-State, and Western New York sections. And what brought me to Alabama was a position at Cider Ridge Golf Club, working for Troon and Honors Golf there in Oxford. So great to be back in this part of the country after growing up in Texas and going back to Mississippi State. So a little bit about us now. We have been coaching in player development and in league golf, and so now our department is the player engagement department, and we basically exist to enrich lives through experiences that transcend golf. And we are here to help you create more value for yourself through all the different programs that we offer and can help you with, not only through the PGA of America, but things that are offered through your section, as well as different things that you're doing at your facilities. And so we want to help you go through the process of inspiring more golfers. I know that we're on a high from COVID, but we want to make sure that we're doing everything to keep this wave going. So how can we help you inspire more golfers, engage those golfers, convert them to where they're playing at your facilities more and involved more in all the different programs that you offer, and through that, retaining them at your facility. And then at the point we want to see is them become advocates for you and your facility and support you and tell others about what you're doing at your facilities. And so that's why we exist, is to be here to help you to do all of that. I am here to serve you and to help you with that process at your facilities, get to know you more and help you more with that. So our principles, really, we want to help you understand the consumer more and what they're looking for in the experiences that they have at your different facilities, and then understand how this all fits together and figure out which programming is going to be best for you and your facilities to continue to help you to grow and to continue to help you create value for yourself as well as for those that you serve and become that important professional PGA apprentice. Really, we look at golfers coming out for 3 different reasons. 1, they want to socialize. 2, they want to escape. Or 3, they want to compete. And, you know, we see buckets of importance now in our department. That's continuing to find players to help you to increase revenue, not only for yourself, but for your facility, create more value for yourself. Engage those players once they finish a specific program. Once they finish PGA Junior League, where do those kids go from this point? Once parents play for the first time in PGA Family Cup, where do they go from there? So how can we help you look at that post-programming model to keep them engaged at your facilities? You know, we know your time is a valuable resource, and so how can we help you more with maximizing time, possibly looking at the new coaching model that Will Robbins is talking about, and then always using technology to help you become more efficient in what you do. We have created a long-term programming pathway for players from the time that they begin as a junior golfer. Different programs that we have, products that we have that we can offer to help you with. You know, also you can fit in here First Tee, your junior golf tour for Georgia PGA, and all those different things that you do at your facility. But the one thing I want to really emphasize here, that the bottom support of this, as you can see, is the American development model and learning how kids develop and helping them develop properly physically so that they can enjoy sports as well as golf throughout their lifetime. And that's all supported by PGA Coach. And as you look at the programming pathway expanded, we can look at the different phases of the American development model from an active start to play to win, and can see how products do fit. You can see that the foundation to all of this is PGA Coach and learning more about the American development model as well as things that PGA Coach can offer you once you finish the process. So as we talk about PGA Coach, first of all, I just want to share with you here in the Georgia section, to this point, you're 19th in the country with a number of coaches that have registered and gone through PGA Coach and have completed a profile on PGA.com. And that's 79 coaches to this point in this section. And I want to work harder with all of you to help us increase that number and help you see the value of PGA Coach and what it can offer you and those that you do serve. So it all starts with the American Development Model training online. It's free, by the way. 3 MSRs. I get that, 3 MSRs this time of year. Might be something good for you, but also at the same time help you learn more about how people develop and how you can use that to your advantage in instruction. So once you complete the training, you then complete a coach profile that goes on to PGA.com. This is where consumers can go and search for you as an instructor. I will share that in 2021, we had over 24,000 leads that came through PGA Coach to all of our coaches across the country, which are 1,800 at this point that have gone through PGA Coach and have created a profile. We also have tools on there, scheduling tools, mobile app, ways to communicate with your students and set up clinics and camps, all kinds of tools in there in PGA Coach to help you manage and use technology to help make your time more efficient when it comes to that. And then there's also additional coach training that's always offered through the website to help you learn more. So next steps, really, it's basically to get ADM certified, create that coach profile, and then you can configure your calendar and put in all of your contacts. You can actually use the app to contact your students as a group or as an individual as well to help you. So more efficiency and time-saving products there to help you with that. So you complete the modern PGA Coach training. that Will Robbins has been emphasizing. It's something that's saving professionals more time, creating more revenue for themselves, and it's something that if you have the chance, that I'd like you to take a look at when you have it. And so you can download the app, and then we also recommend you write an article, put a video on there, because when people go to look at your profile, they'll see that information there. And I will share also, once your profile is set up, here's how it shows up on PGA.com. Also, if anybody goes on PGA.com throughout each week to find out what the PGA Tour scores are for the week, if they download the entire leaderboard right there, based upon what zip code they're in, they'll see a PGA coach, a PGA member that is in that area that they can click on and learn more about and go to and get lessons. So for a while there, I had my profile up where I lived in Oxford, and I think I ended up with 5 leads until I decided I don't have time to do the instruction. So it is a really good tool for you. So 2 products I really want to cover today, besides PGA.Coach, is PGA Junior League and PGA Family Cup. And I'd like to start here with a video with PGA Junior League.
New possibilities, more potential. PGA coaches, now is the time to dream big, because exciting things are on the horizon for PGA Junior League. Developed with guidance from fellow PGA coaches on the National PGA Junior League committees and across the country, we're building a new PGA Junior League world. We're making it as easy as possible to create more experiences for more kids to play more golf, with you at the center. For starters, we're shifting to an annual membership model called the Game Changer Club. With it comes one set of jerseys with other cool team kit items to use year-round. Plus, its own corner of PGAJuniorLeague.com that will feature partner deals, fun activities, and more. Players will pay a one-time annual fee to the PGA of $99 that covers all seasons that year, in addition to your seasonal coaching or program fees. For players, that means no more paying the same standard fee for every seasonal registration. For golf professionals, it means you can host as many seasons as you'd like, year-round, and set your own coaching fees without the added National League fee each season. To see how this comes to life, let's take a look at how PGA coach and committee member Mike Surrey is going to maximize his program. Mike runs a large in-house league. Shifting to a year-round model, he's divvying up his teams further by skill level. Players ages 9 and under, his typical PGA Junior League teams of recreational players, and his advanced players interested in becoming part of his new traveling all-star team. Now he has the freedom to start winter programs, host extra games in the spring and fall, and can mold the juniors into better golfers year-round. Bottom line, he increases income, streamlines his workload, and provides the world-class instruction that only PGA coaches can give to youth sports. At the end of the day, none of this would be possible without a technology overhaul. The new PGAJuniorLeague.com is unlike anything you've experienced before. Welcome to your new Easy button, now fully integrated with PGA.com, PGA.Coach, and PGAFamilyCup.com. It's easy to manage your login and access. It's simpler than ever to set up your programs. Plus, with a custom-built mobile app that pairs with the website, you can do everything right from your phone. From rostering and program management to scheduling and communicating with your team. Oh, and did we mention that you'll receive your coaching fees instantaneously through the website? Already brainstorming how you're going to bring these new opportunities to life?
Yes!
Connect with your regional league manager and head to PGAJuniorLeague.com to learn more.
So we basically have 3 new enhancements for PGA Junior League this year. The first one is the Game Changer Club, where the kids join the Game Changer Club, $99. That covers things for the entire year for them. In the past, if they participated in a spring program and then a fall program, they were paying $75 fee each time. Now they have this membership and can participate in multiple programs at your facility without paying that fee every time. And so it covers their team kit, as well as the parents will now have access to Perk Spot, which is our wonderful discount service that we have as PGA professionals and apprentices. Plus, we're doing some additional games and things for the kids on the app as part of the Game Changer membership. And so they can participate in numerous programs at your facility, spring, fall, summer, different age groups. You can take advantage of this and offer more opportunities for them and more instruction programs like you saw Mike Surrey doing there. And so it will cover the entire year for them. So that's the Game Changer Club. Second is all new technology. We basically outgrew Sports Engine just with the fact that we had 65,000 players in 2021, which was a new record for us in PGA Junior League. We decided to go in-house with our technology, and the fact that I've only gotten 3 phone calls this spring from professionals who needed help registering says a whole lot. And so definitely happy with all the new technology. And then the other enhancement this year are all-star play days, where you can form an all-star team at the beginning of the season, schedule all-star play days at your facility, 8 players in 13U, 6 players in 17U, and throughout the season within your region compete in these all-star play days. And when we get to the end of the season, 4 teams from that regional leaderboard will advance to the regional in our postseason. So we're going to double the number of teams participating at the regional this year in postseason if you do enjoy playing in that. A couple other things I just want to share with you from 2021. As I mentioned, 65,000 players. We had over $12 million in registration revenue that went back to professionals and their facilities. And we estimate an additional $71 million in incremental revenue that's generated from memberships, merchandise sales, food and beverage sales, additional lessons and things such as that. In Georgia, you had 1,700 players, or 1,700 players, excuse me, in 2021. And so far this year, we have just over 800 registered as of this morning, I checked. So in 2021, we had 82 programs here in this section, and we're now up to 86 for this year. So we're actually seeing some growth, which is really exciting. So looking forward to a great season with PGA Junior League here in this section. I do want to remind you, coach registration, if you want to participate in a multi-course league, will be closing tomorrow at 5 o'clock so that I can put the leagues together, work with the section, and get everybody else set for the multi-course leagues. If you want to do an in-house league, just let me know and we can work on that registration as well, but that deadline is a little more relaxed. So, you know, when we looked at PGA Junior League, we as a team got to talking a few years ago, how can we get these people that are out there watching their kids playing off the cart path and onto the course playing? And so with all the long discussion and some great leadership from our managing director, Steve Tanner, we came up with PGA Family Cup, a way to get people off the cart path watching and onto the course playing and enjoying time with their kids and playing as a family. And just a short video here.
How can we find a way to get them off the cart path and into the playing space? PGA Family Cup is really that vehicle to do that. Family Cup welcomes everybody. Costumes and the decorated cards. We have a supportive format, scramble format. Be together, enjoy the beautiful weather and this great golf course, and just make lifelong memories together. It's just a great way for families to be together on the golf course having fun.
There's Chuck Higgins, one of our national directors, who's hosted a number of PGA Family Cups. They've even had themed PGA Family Cups, Halloween, costume contests, cart decorating contests, all kinds of fun things. And you know, I wanted to share just, my family is a golfing family. Both my sons play. We've actually gotten mom out there to play some. And you know, it's amazing to see what getting the families on the golf course playing together can do and the influence it can have. You know, one of the things that we've seen family influence in our lives is Jack, my youngest, has a girlfriend there, Elizabeth. They've been together a couple of years. I have no doubt they're going to end up getting married. You know, he's already saving up for the ring, so that's a sign for me. But at one point, Elizabeth's dad, Robert, came to me and said, "Hey, I'd like to learn how to play." And I asked him why. He goes, "I want something I can do to spend more time with Jack and Elizabeth and the family." And so we've seen the influence of family now helping us grow the game, just in my own personal experience here with the game. And so we want to do that for you and helping you with PGA Family Cup. It's a fun scramble format, 2 to 6 players, at least one junior and adult. And if you want more details, when I have time, I can share that with you. But we loosely define family. Course setup is very fun. Par 3, 9-hole type format. You can do food and beverage after. I've heard stories of professionals hosting Family Cup on the night that they have themed dinner nights at their facility. Do PGA Family Cup on the night of Italian night at your club, and get more families there to participate in things. So, cost is a $45 annual membership that the family pays. So it's just per family, and for that they actually get a Family Cup team kit. The biggest hit has been the picture frame, and a lot of professionals have used that by taking pictures during the event and giving it to the families at the end. So we have a team kit. What do you get as a professional? You've got support from myself and our Resource Center. We actually provide awards for each of your events from Signed by the Sea that you can use however you would like to use. And then we have provided a promo kit, and of course read through a brand new website as well. And then lastly, with Family Cup, I wanted to share a testimonial. I got to attend one in Baltimore, Maryland at Carroll Park Golf Course. And this was a Facebook post the day after by Rashad Wilson. She said, after 20 years of being a spectator, I played my first round of golf. The PGA Family Cup was a perfect opportunity for me to try the sport while playing with my family. Frustrated for a good portion of the match, and I had to remind myself it's all okay, a beginner at something. Then I hit the great shot, and I actually saw the shot. I was there. She hit the and nobody else in the family did. With everyone watching, it was incredible. I've heard all it takes is one good shot, which she's right. And she's now set up lessons with Richard, her golf professional, to keep learning how to play. So here we see a great result from PGA Family Cup and more people getting into the game. To register, go to pgafamilycup.com, click on Coach, become a coach, and it'll take you from there. So I want to thank you for the time today. I know it took a good amount of time, but I want to say thank you to Officer Scott and all of you, and look forward to working with you further here in the Georgia section. I have 2 challenges for you. Take a look at PGA Coach, and then also think about one additional player engagement program at your facility this year. Doesn't have to be one of ours, just another way for you to continue to grow the game and help us keep this wave going. Thank you very much for the time. Look forward to serving you more, and everybody have a great season.
Thank you, Doug. Now for our employment report, Mr. Don Sweeting.
Thanks, Brian. We're going to call an audible today for me. Good morning. Hope everyone's doing well. You already know me, so we don't have to go through those introductions, but Mark already did my report, did a great job. Thank you, so that's okay. We're good with that. You've got a break coming up, and you really need to hear the town hall and hear Don Rea speak, because he had some interesting comments yesterday at the board meeting, which was outstanding. So let me do a little bit here real quick on the slideshow. I'm in place for one reason, and one reason only, and that's really to help you in your career. And that doesn't mean necessarily a new position. It can be in your current position and elevating that position. So I've got over 30 years of experience, as you already know, and can really help you. Let me give you an example of how we support our members when we talk about compensation coming up here. I had a professional call me last week. He has a new general manager, been on site for 1 month. He calls me at 9 in the morning, says, hey, I've got a review with him in 2 hours. I'm like, what? He didn't have much of a choice there. So I start going through a plethora of questions that I normally do to try and get him set up for that. And I said, well, time out here. What type of review is this going to be? He said, well, it is a compensation discussion. And I said, do you think it's already set? Is it a cost of living adjustment? He said, yeah, more than likely. So what we did is we set up a discussion to happen after his ladies member guest and his men's member guest in June. And then on the long list of items I gave him to figure out his accomplishments with stats and figures, he's also in charge of Monday outings. They've obviously had some great results in the last year on all the things that this gentleman does. When he goes back in June, we will be ready. Stats, figures, items in writing, and whatever his style is. It's really important when I'm talking to someone about your style and the style of who you're reporting to, how to best and effectively communicate with him so that you can grow in your role and hopefully get the compensation you want. So at least we're able to set up a conversation in June so that he can prepare for the next budget. I told him, look, you know, budgets are set. In his case, he's on a calendar year, but his budgets are going to be set this fall. So let's set you up for success in June with this meeting with your new general manager so that he can get in the budget for next year, see the increase that you really need. He's well behind in the compensation he deserved at his place. So that's just one example I wanted to give you of what we're doing. In recruiting, I want to have a shout out. I had a call from Scott Geary and how the PGA Association is helping. PGA Career Service is going to support the dinner that night for those. And the reason for that is there'll be, hopefully Susie Whaley will be there also. And we're going to have like 3 speakers to try and attract the individuals to becoming a PGA member. So that's another reason we're going to support and provide money for that event during the Georgia Women's Open. So I just wanted you to know I skipped through this on recruiting. We talked about our 21 career. Are we back? We also have 4 recruiting specialists. We're going to grow that even more from what I understand from Mark's comments. And let me tell you, they're doing a great job in awareness and trying to get new people. But I do have one question. How many in the room here were attracted to your profession as a PGA by either an assistant pro or a head professional? Let's see a show of hands. All right, look, that's the majority. We need your help again in recruiting. We don't have positions at your facility to recruit to. You do. So I'm asking you for one thing, and that is to, as you see these young individuals that you work with, talk to your staff about recruiting people to our industry. That's how it's going to work. That's how the majority of everyone became involved. So recruiting is almost the #1 issue. Obviously, I work on employment and want to enhance your life, but we need more people to fill those bodies because the assistant professional track that we have is where I receive the most of my phone calls. Hey, do you have people you can send me? I need help. So I'll leave you with that. We've already covered executive searches. I will say one thing and that is that when we're in the room with those employers, we can help the PGA professional the most to assist. We're still on. Assist you in how you can better lead in the next time, in the next roles. So when we're part of that process, it's more about helping the PGA professional than it is the employer, I can tell you that. And we're fortunate to be in that room. And we also have a director becoming more involved in those searches. He sat in on the last one. It's a learning experience for him, and he'll be able to help you as you have your discussions with Scott Geary. And last, on your Georgia website, if you're having trouble getting in touch with me, website, I'm right there, Michael, and you'll see me again then. Thanks for your time. Get ready to get a short break.
How do you make 28,000 PGA members feel like they belong to the new headquarters in Frisco, Texas? Well, it's not a headquarters, it's a home. Welcome home. As you enter, visitors are immediately greeted by 28,000 faces, the heart and soul of the PGA of America, its member professionals. The large-scale digital interface also allows members the chance to search the PGA database and learn more about their special interest, to see familiar faces and meet some new ones. Getting more personal, another welcome screen is programmed to greet individual visitors with their image and name. And to make sure the family knows who's come home, a message is transmitted upstairs to the PGA staff to let them know a member or visitor has arrived. A true welcome home wouldn't be complete without a friendly face. The welcome desk serves as the first of many connection points where a greeter or concierge greets the visitor with a personal touch, maybe offering them their favorite beverage. Members can swipe their badge as they enter to activate the personalized experience. As you move into the gallery, much like a home's library, you begin to share in the history of the PGA, its heroes, memories, treasured artifacts. It's almost like you're flipping through the family scrapbook. Digital interactive experiences allow visitors to scroll through to learn more about the PGA heroes, Hall of Fame members, past presidents, and the everyday professionals. Moving into the second part of the gallery, visitors can experience some of the greatest championship moments of the PGA and get up close and personal with some of the most prized memorabilia. The jewelry store type display case is a treasure chest of interactive surprises. It may have the famous Sunday shirt in one drawer. In another drawer, it could be the original minutes book from 1916. The iconic Rolex clock serves as a backdrop for this display and affords Rolex the chance to be part of the home of the PGA. Gear displays come to life with augmented reality options. As you hold your phone over the display, a video story comes to life. Imagine as you hover over championship badges that videos of the PGA professional plays an iconic moment in history. The trophy display is another opportunity for visitors to use AR with an app on their phones. As they hover over a championship trophy, they automatically see video highlights from that year's tournament. Moving through the connector hallway, members are reminded of the PGA's mission to serve the member and grow the game. Images bring to life the faces of those who make it possible. This is yet another opportunity to underscore the diversity of the organization and its commitment to bringing everyone into the game. Points of collision or connection are key to the experience. The PGA is all about relationships, and what better way to connect than over a game? This space provides the opportunity for staff, associates, and visitors to just hang out and share a story or two. PGA Reach is just one of the ways the PGA of America sets itself apart by growing the game through serving. This display creates a space to honor PGA Reach donors and tell the stories of those who benefit from their efforts. Rounding the corner to the grandstand staircase creates a wow moment. It makes a statement. A bold message like, "I am golf," immediately identifies the individual's place in the PGA story, and it provides an incredible photo opportunity. The grandstand is another point of connection where staff can possibly gather for a lunch and learn training session, or just overlook the course. The Education Center is a wide-open space where professionals and prospective members can explore the vast array of opportunities available to them. Visitors can explore the 3 career paths available via the large interactive screen. This experience allows members and prospective members to understand the depth and breadth of career opportunities available to them. Similar to the gallery wall, the Education Center invites the visitors go deeper inside the PGA story and learn some of the lesser-known advantages of becoming a professional. The visitor can learn more about their district and the professionals there and find ways to better connect. The attention-grabbing ticker is designed to offer real-time news and stats of interest, even results of training accomplishments going on in the Education Center. It can also be tailored to display welcome and inspirational messages or social media feeds. The wide-open educational space is ideal for an eye-catching, larger-than-life image that paints a picture of the rewarding moments that come with being a PGA professional. Climbing upstairs to the 4th floor, visitors are met with the true hero shot of the home of the PGA, the bird's eye view of the course in Frisco. Memorabilia is displayed front and center in a see-through lit case that allows the viewer to get a glimpse of the past with a view of the future. The interactive digital map that is easily updated provides viewers the chance to learn where current and former board members come from and helps build a sense of unity while showing our diversity of locations and backgrounds. The display of the clubs from the 25 founding PGA members pays homage to those who made the PGA possible. Finally, the digital stretch panels create a feeling of a grand art display. Images can be customized to the event or occasion. So if a potential sponsor like BMW is visiting the home of the PGA, artwork that includes a car on the 18th hole can be shown. Or if you are welcoming your new board members to their first meeting, individual photos could be projected. Hall of Fame storytelling will actually be featured in 2 locations: the Digital Hero display in the front gallery, and a Hall of Fame monument in the Hall of Fame garden on the north end of the new building. The Hall of Fame monument will be the focal point of the garden. It stands 7 feet tall, 34 feet wide, and is constructed from the same stone and metal used in the new building. The Hall of Fame garden also features an event lawn, a covered patio, and a reflection pool with a fountain. Welcome to the home of the PGA in Frisco, Texas. Welcome home.
Let me kind of close it out, then you can get to your question.
Yeah.
You will get to talk today, Scott, I promise.
I don't need to.
I mean, raise your hand if you tell somebody you're a PGA professional, they ask if you know Tiger Woods, right? I mean, there's always this confusion between the PGA Tour and the PGA of America. You know, I mean, even sometimes at my own club, you know, when I told them I was secretary, they think I'm going to be at every weekend tournament. I'm like, no, man, we're the 28,000 that help people make birdies, right? We make a lot of birdies, but we help people make birdies. So who's hurting for assistance right now? I mean, we're all hurting, right? So we're all working extra hard. And so we need a way to recruit people to this game. And I don't know if it's just going to be straight about compensation. If you look at this new generation, this new labor force, I mean, they're all about purpose. They're all about mission. They want to be part of something. They just don't want to watch at the end of the deal. They want to know that they changed some lives. And so when we invested in PJ Frisco and then what you saw right there, it's to recruit. I mean, if you're going to have a young athlete come to a college campus, the first thing you're going to say, hey, you got to get a recruiting visit. Man, you got to see the stadium, you got to see the workout facility, you got to see the classrooms, you got to feel what this campus is all about, because you're going to find out, for the reason everybody's crying and their brackets get busted at NCAAs, that when you go to a college, you end up loving that college for the rest of your life. But where did we have to take people? Where was I going to take Katie, my 19-year-old daughter? Or my son, you know, and tell them what I've dedicated my life to? Or our friends, or maybe our members at our facility. We need some place to take them so they can once and for all feel that we are not the PGA Tour. We are the PGA of America. And we are the needle, in my opinion. We're the ones who grow the spectators and the viewers. And the reason golf is booming right now is on our backs. Let's be honest. We build relationship with consumers all the time, and more people are playing now. But if we make them loyal to our facility, then you and I win, because everybody understands that we are to the facility, not just valuable. And so what I really like about that, you know, is the fourth floor. Initially, there was talk of some offices being up there. And we said, no way. The fourth floor is the PGA members floor. That'll be where the board meets, but that'll be where you can gather your members. Say you take the Pro-Am there, right? I mean, there's going to be a 500-room hotel. Omni is going to be top of the line Omni. It's a 100,000 square foot convention center, 36 holes of golf, 10 holes that are going to be lit that you could actually play with a putter if you wanted to, a 2-acre putting green. I mean, this is all about what is golf, what is so fun about golf. And on one corner is the anchor of our headquarters building, that on the fourth floor, after you play with your members for 2 days on the Pro-Am, you do all the little fun, almost like the Bobby Jones thing, you know, with your putting green over there. Kind of similar to that. Not completely. There's a lot of hills on yours, right? But it'll be a place where kids and everybody can kind of go, what is this golf thing all about? And so can you imagine, you know, bringing your family or your members to the fourth floor and then them seeing this expanse of 600 acres and going, this is what the PGA is all about. You know, this is why when you compensate me, I'm not an expense. I'm a cost of goods sold. You put money into me, boom, I'm going to double it. That's what I do. That's what PGA professionals do every day. And so for the first time, we'll be able to tell that story. And so for recruitment, I'm telling you, if you get some level 1 people there or some associates and some PGM University students, and we go, hey, you got to take a tour of the headquarters, that alone is going to tell the story about what we do. You know, there's one thing about this section already, Brian, I can tell. It is kind of like a family. It's really cool. And that's one of the things I think Frisco does is, you might have missed it, but you know, when you walk in there and scan your card, it immediately tells everybody who works there on all the floors that Don's here. And so they're going to know that you're walking around. If it's a past president or it's maybe just an assistant who just became a member, they're going to know, wow, John's here. And I think that's going to help us, because sometimes with our headquarters staff, you know, maybe we just call them when we have issues with MSRs or something, but they forget what they're doing on behalf of us. And I think as an association, if we can get those 300 employees actually feeling and knowing what we do every day, and we're working so hard right now, it'll actually make us better. I mean, we all know that at our staffs, if we can possibly get food and beverage, agronomy, and golf, and maybe even the outside service and golf shop talking at the same time, right? When you build a team, the members notice, the guests notice. And so for the first time, I believe headquarters, all the staff members being in one building, them fully understanding what we do every day, because they're going to have to walk through it as they go to their offices. They'll go, oh, I'm part of something much bigger than this job. I'm actually helping 28,000, I would argue, save lives. PGA Hope saves lives. That's a fact. We change lives every day. So Frisco, I don't think I could overstate it. I think when you need to go there as soon as possible, it's the headquarters. We'll have the staff in there at the end of April, about a month from now. August, we're going to have the grand opening. And the facility in and of itself won't open until first quarter of 2023. And that's by design. I mean, I'm sure some of you have opened up golf courses before where, you know, you're in this temporary building as a golf shop. And that first impression that's so important, you kind of miss out on. Well, our partners with Omni in the town of Frisco said, you know what, we're not opening this bad boy until it's all ready to go. So when the world comes there to watch the KitchenAid Senior PGA Championship in May of 2023, they're going to see with drone flyovers and everything that you could possibly imagine, leveraging the PGA brand to showcase what the 28,000 men and women do at the PGA of America. So when we open it up, it'll be an amazing first impression on behalf of you, because by the way, you paid for it. You know, Mark talked about selling Valhalla. That's your golf course. And we're selling it because we want to put some of that money back into your pocket through PGA Hope and career consultants and things like that. So it's a good stewardship of your money to do that at Valhalla. But I could talk about Frisco all day. I know you got a bunch of questions, Scott, but I think when you get a chance to go, and you need to, you're going to have to be intentional about this. You know, I think sometimes we're really good at welcoming, and welcoming is good, but welcoming is a flyer on the wall. An invitation is when you say, hey, John, you want to play golf? Yeah, that's welcoming. You want to play golf on Saturday at 1 o'clock? Now they're almost committed. So I'm telling you I'm inviting you right now. You have to come and be proud of it, and then just know that that's going to allow you to tell the story of what you've dedicated your life to, or if you're new and you just became a member, what you're about to. Because you're not part of, this isn't a job. This isn't you're going to be a plumber or an air conditioning specialist. Nothing against those guys and gals. PGA members change lives. We talk about work-life balance, but I would argue that it's a life's work. Right? We talked about that last night. I mean, that's what we dedicate. That's why we get hugs from the kids or the Vietnam veteran who hugs us after a PGA Hope clinic. That is a recruiting message, and that's what Frisco's going to allow.
Could agree more. Thank you, Don. Brian and I got to see it. Jumping back, I appreciate your introduction of yourself and kind of your path to becoming a PGA golf professional, really, as an umpire. I think most of us know Brian and Cary, but I want them to have the platform to kind of tell their path into becoming a PGA golf professional and why they chose to serve on governance at the section level.
Me first?
Yeah.
My path is definitely not traditional. I picked up golf very late, I guess, in my young life, being a baseball player as well, not to the level of these two guys. I was too short, too slow. But in college, at University of Georgia, I had a summer job down at Great Waters. And every summer I felt like I had a membership. I'd go work from about 7 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon and then kick off and then literally play golf till dark every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday for 3 summers in a row. And then finally my senior year, I was getting ready to graduate, had interviews lined up, had a business degree, heading into Atlanta, and a guy's trip from Cincinnati came through and started asking me questions like, you know, what are you doing working here? You could be a golf professional. I thought, no, I'm going to college. I got a degree. I don't want to be a golf pro. But after talking to those guys, and then they kind of enlightened me on what their pro from Cincinnati's life was like, it kind of stuck, thinking, you know, you love this game so much, you can't see yourself away from it. So after I think 4 interviews, driving through Atlanta traffic inside of 285 30 years ago or 20 years ago, however long it was, it didn't sound so bad driving to a golf course at 6 o'clock in the morning and not having to put on one of these every damn day. So to membership after, I guess, only about 5 years or so in Stone Mountain, Georgia at the Southland 18-hole golf course. And then after my Class A membership, I realized that I've had 4 jobs as a Class A member and haven't followed in anybody's shoes, which, to Cary's point last night, means I get to set the bar as low as I want. Nobody to have to follow up with. So, and then just not being able to sit still, I got involved. And I touched on that briefly earlier this morning. Friends like Robert and BA and Cary and everybody just encouraging me to, you know, get involved and to get up here in front of you guys. I mean, y'all put us all up here. So thank you for that. That was your intent. So that's my path.
And then Mr. Cary Brown, I tell everybody this, he's got one of the more unique kind of paths to becoming a PGA golf professional.
Yeah, my path is pretty chaotic, I guess, to say the least. I chased after baseball as well. Got to play a little bit of college ball and had fun with that. Got out of school and had no idea what I wanted to do. When I was young, I loved to play music, and I was a pretty good bass player, so moved to Atlanta, met some guys, joined a band, and off we went. So we chased after that for almost a decade and had some success, did some touring with some major acts. I think everybody loves to mention the fact that I used to be on the road with Rea and so I don't know why that one sticks out to everybody. I had a funky haircut, so that was, I guess we fit right in. But, that didn't work out for us. After that, I was chasing a life as a portrait painter. Was into art as a young man and had honed that skill pretty good. And everyone loved my paintings, but no one wanted to pay for them. So strike two. And so I started hanging out with some guys around Atlanta when I wasn't on tour, and ran into guys like Brian Conley, and met a guy named Paul Richards who ran a driving range there in Atlanta near my house. Started getting into these money matches on Mondays that I couldn't win. But I thought it was a trial by fire. I thought it was a way to introduce me to some people, and I was encouraged to get into the business. Sent my resume out, and nobody wanted to hire a rock star portrait painter. So it was tough sledding there for a little bit. But Craig Hartle at Setting Down Creek gave me my first job in the cart barn at 30 years old. So you can imagine my wife thinking, "What is this guy doing?" I mean, it was pretty crazy. But I got my membership in 6 years. Was in the Atlanta market for a little bit. Came down to Columbus in my hometown. And 4 years later, I wound up getting my first job at Valdosta Country Club. I was a golf pro there for 6 years, and I've been general manager now for the last 7. So very excited about the opportunity that I've gotten down there. And, I used to sit in Brian Stubbs' office, and I would kind of try to listen in on these conversations that he had with the great Danny Elkins. And I would sit outside that door and think about, man, how cool are these guys that they're leading our section. And I mentioned to John Goblin last night, I went through all the chapter levels and was having a good time with that. And one night after one of our meetings, John and I were in the parking lot. Should I mention that we were at Hooters there, John?
I think you just did.
Just did. But John said, man, you really need to think and consider about moving up. And so, it meant a lot to me that he had the faith in me, and that some of my mentors like Brian Stubbs and Danny had some good words for me and encouragement, which is why I ran. A lot of people know about the health problems I'm going through. I was diagnosed with brain cancer in 2019, and I get the question, why? Why, Cary? Why are you doing this? You should be spending more time at home. You should be doing this and that. And I'll tell you, it's because I love our association. I love this fraternity that we get to be in. I think it's awesome that we get to hang out with each other and grow the game and affect lives. And it's important to me. It's important to my family. They encourage me to do these things and to be a part of this fraternity. So couldn't be more excited to be here. I know it's a difficult scenario that we've been going through with the exit of Brandon, who was just such a dynamic guy and really set the bar high. When I was elected, I was thinking, gosh, how am I ever going to fill those shoes, He had the best pocket squares. I mean, come on. There's no way I'm ever going to be able to live up to that pocket square game. But, when Conley moved up, yeah, I was thinking about ascots, But didn't do that. But it's been a pleasure to be with Conley, and I'm looking forward to continuing down the path that we've created. And I think we have such a great foundation built now, and I think there's great things to come.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Hopefully you have a deeper understanding on Brian and Cary now as well. Raise your hand in the room if you went to the show this year. Okay, more than I thought. All of us were there, and I went in kind of with an empty head, just trying to see what it would look like. But Now I'll open it up with you, Don. What were your thoughts of the show, and maybe what can you tell us about next year?
Yeah, I thought, it was a little scary there. We didn't know what was going to happen. I mean, what I didn't realize is that Reed Exposition, right, that's our partner. They own the show, right? We sold it to them for a lot of money a long time ago. And, but they're huge. The golf little aspect of their business is very small. They do shows across the globe. So they were kind of figuring out how to thread the needle of doing an in-person show, because we were really in favor of that, and just, what the mask policy would be and how we could make it happen. At the end of the day, we certainly had less, PGA professionals and attendees that we've had before, and some of the major manufacturers didn't show up. Almost all of, well, I'd say all of them have committed to come next year. Ping was going to come. I mean, it was, their factory or their actual headquarters is in Scottsdale, Arizona, and they had one semi-loaded and the other one halfway loaded, and then they had a COVID outbreak at Ping. And they're like, yeah, we just can't go now. So they were going to be there. What was interesting is that typically there's a lot of people there, right? And I mean, it's almost like the Phoenix Open, right? It's just, there's a boatload of people there, and some of them aren't there to buy. And it's good. I mean, the aspect of us seeing each other there and networking, every time we do a survey about the PGA Merchandise Show, it's that the networking is one of the most important things. Even if it's, just going to the Peabody, or it's not the Peabody anymore, but that's where we all went back in the day, across the street. But it was all about seeing golf professionals and asking how their year went last year and how they expected the year to be. So it was interesting this year, John Lindert and I talked to a bunch of vendors walking around, and the vendors that were there felt like it was a really good show for them. They were actually signing, they were doing orders, they were signing up customers. And so it's interesting. I think, some of those major manufacturers, their displays were so big because they try to outdo each other, but in a sense it becomes very expensive for them to be at the show. So I think you might see a small reset to answer that question, Scott, of maybe the displays being smaller and maybe more about personal engagement than this, we're going to have on our 50,000 square foot booth and talk about what driver's coming out. So the vendors, the sales reps that we talked to, thought it was a great show. It was a kind of a working show, better than it's been in a while. So things be reset. Some have asked me, do you ever think the PGA show would go to Frisco? Definitely not. I mean, that convention center is only 100,000 square feet. So maybe the fall show could maybe get there, certainly annual meetings. But the Orlando show is huge, right? I mean, there's a lot of, even this year, as small as it was over 100,000 square feet. So I thought it was a pretty good show. I think the education, we could still do more and more to make sure that education is a little more challenging. Like in social media stuff, I'm trying to get my IG going, my Instagram. Katie told me I have to get into IG. And then she said I'm supposed to get into Snapchat too, and TikTok. So I don't know if I could do any of those, but I know that's where the future golfers are and the future golf professionals are. So don't be surprised if you see, hopefully you follow me on social media, because I do Facebook. I guess that's for the old people, I've heard. And then I try to do some Instagram and then LinkedIn, but I think I'd like to see more education, in helping our golf professionals better understand fences and filters. We just got a great presentation, right, Russ and Mark, of what's the PGA doing for us to help us grow, right? Well, we have hired some social media experts to how do we get the message of golf on TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, where the young people are. And man, we learned a lot in that room of, you literally could take with Snapchat and put some fences around a Topgolf, and everybody who's on Snapchat at a Topgolf could get a message about coming to a local golf course or being a PGA golf professional. You can set fences and filters around businesses or areas or cities or even a convention center. Say there's a football game, at the Benz, and you could actually build fences around that and tell everybody when they're coming out, hey, you should play golf tomorrow. So those are cool things that I didn't even know exist that I can do relatively inexpensively at Augusta Ranch, because my marketing budget's very small. But those are some. I kind of got on a tangent on education, but I think I'd like to see better education on our shows, because then it'll drive some attendance as well as networking and recruiting.
Oh, absolutely. Cary, what about your thoughts?
I thought I was going to be very disappointed because a lot of our OEMs were not going to be in attendance. And, when you walk into the room and you see that those monoliths are gone, you go, man, this is kind of underwhelming. But as we walked around the floor and, ran into all our colleagues and did our networking, once you started diving into the booths that were there, I think it was fantastic to see all those vendors there and to actually have a little bit more of some time and some intimate conversation where it just didn't feel so hectic. And so I thought it went very well. You know, I think to Don's point, education is a great thing that can happen at that gathering. The better we get at that, I think the more we have a chance at retention. This thing we're talking about, how do we educate all our assistants? You know, I love to take my assistants down to the show and show them, you know, how big that world can be. I think the first time anybody ever goes to the show, you're like, man, this is crazy, you know. But that's the power of our business. I think, you know, once we are able to see the magnitude of how many people we're reaching and what we're touching, I think that's the whole heart and soul of the PGA show is to give us that grand entrance and to show off a little bit. It's great to have, you know, a lot of our partners in TV there to get us some airtime, and you know, I thought it went very well.
Yeah, I echo what Cary said. I was not going to let somebody else's perception of the show learn that secondhand, so definitely made sure that I went to see that, and the networking, and everything that was there was as strong as ever, and then the relationships that we built from that was great, and quite frankly, the week was going swimmingly all the way up until we were ready to make our back nine charge on Thursday until a COVID case kind of derailed our first win of the year. So other than that, it was a fantastic week.
I was the COVID case, by the way. You know, we talked a lot. Mark did a great job in his report, and Don touched on it a little bit, Don Sweeting. But I really want, when you're here in front of the members, to talk about deferred comp. Give as much detail as you can. I know it's a work in progress, because this answers the question, what does the PGA do for me? It really does, more than anything that I've seen. And then, so if you'd give your thoughts on that, and then I'd ask you both, you know, from a section end, where do you see the value in it? So.
Yeah, I think, you know, certainly when you get elected, or even when you're on the campaign trail, everybody's like, what do I get for my dues? You know, is it really a magazine and the Masters? I mean, that's all I get. And so, you know, I think, you know, Frisco, to the point, I think that's going to help us recruit. And we just need to leverage the marketing assets and the relationships that the PGA has and push people to you. And making sure that you're getting these leads. Like, by the end of this, I'll definitely mention PGA coach profiles, some of the math there. But as far as deferred comp, just a quick, I mean, who's heard that we had a deferred comp thing? Because you know what I find is, as I've been traveling around trying to hit all these sections, is we're not doing a good job of getting the messages of what's coming from national. We're assuming that everybody's watching that live streaming feed. They're not. You know what I mean? And then we have these meetings, and you know, I almost feel like sometimes, you know, you're teaching somebody a golf swing and you're using terminology and you forget to ask the kids, do you know what fat means? And they don't. Do you know what thin means? Do you know what you hit it on the toe means? And so I think we do have to do a better job in the PGA of America of communicating to all of our members, because we've got some amazing things. And if our 28,000 sales force of owners of this association don't know these amazing things, then how can you recruit like Don was talking about? So deferred comp, what I find interesting about this, I mentioned it to your board yesterday, is that when Seth Waugh got on the national board, he was an independent director, not a PGA member, but when we see blind spots in our association, we try to get independent directors who are really good at those blind spots. So we get some smart people in the room, because sometimes you can get used to the smell of your own house, right? So you get some independent directors in the room who do different things, good at marketing, maybe it's legal, maybe it's HR, and then you can ask them as a national board. That's why we're really excited that when we believe sections should get independence. When I heard that yesterday, what you're going to do with your foundation makes perfect sense in the foundation boardroom. I believe it makes sense in just the regular boardroom too, because of those ideas. So Seth, you know, he spends 2 years as an independent director, and then the opportunity to be the CEO comes up because, you know, Pete Bavacqua left to run NBC Sports. I mean, not just golf, but the whole darn company. And so Seth had some institutional knowledge of his years as a board member, those three, and he was a very good board member. I was on the board at the same time as Seth, and you know, sometimes independents you're not sure because they're busy. They're running major companies usually, but he was always very engaged and helped us tremendously with the move to Frisco because of the contacts he had and who he knew. Now, who else did he know? He knew Jay Monahan, right? When he was the CEO of Deutsche Bank, They started the Deutsche Bank Open, and Jay Monahan ran that. And so when Seth gets the CEO job, the first thing is how can I make PGA members' lives better? That's my job. How do I make them better? Well, we need retirement. We got $200 million in the bank in our reserve fund, and how can the PGA members get this? Because we can't just cut them a check because the IRS doesn't allow that. And so he went to work, as a businessman does, and he started asking the PGA Tour, how did you get your deferred compensation retirement plan? Who's familiar with the PGA Tour's deferred compensation? It's kind of ridiculous, right? But you have to do something to get it. They can't take all that money the tour has and divide it up on the tour members. They have to earn the retirement. They certainly earn their purses by winning on Sunday, but the retirement aspect, they have to make cuts. And that's why, because they convinced the IRS that, listen, if our members make the cuts, they're playing on the weekend. And the weekend is how we sell television rights. The television, media wants to broadcast the Saturdays and Sundays of tournaments. So they threaded that needle. Seth asked those lawyers and the accountants of the PGA Tour, who are the, and because they had outsourced that, and said, can you help us? And so that's what happened, is Seth started grinding on that. He's only been the CEO less than 3 years, and he started grinding on it, and finally found a way for the IRS to agree, okay, you're not just giving the money to the members. Nope, they've got to earn it. So what are they going to do? And they gave some kind of basics, right? We still had to, we got to polish this thing over here, but you got to give some fundamental things to the IRS so that they can go, okay, in theory, we support it. Now, once they say they support it in theory, you get that letter, that's a big deal, because that means that you're in. That means you're in. And so that's what happened. When we made the announcement at the annual meeting in Wisconsin in November, it's that the IRS had approved our deferred compensation plan. Now, what does that mean to you? Well, it means to you is that we've assembled a committee of people who have jobs just like everybody in the room, sales reps, and even brought to my attention, if you work for the section, what are some things that you do that if you do them, it grows the game, and we can give you, in a sense, points in order to get a share of the deferred compensation, in a sense, making cuts. What are you doing? And let's not make it too difficult. Maybe it's just running a PGA Junior League program, or PGA Family Cup, or PGA Hope, or running an inter-city league, and whatever you're doing. So that's where we're at now, where the IRS has approved it. The committee is now looking at this point scale that we're looking at of making sure that everybody is covered. So say, for instance, at your facility, maybe there's 5 PGA golf professionals and they're all helping out with PGA Junior League. Well, how do we divide up those points, so that everybody can get some? And then how many points can you acquire to where you're, in a sense, fully vested in the deferred comp plan? So this is where it gets exciting, right? Because we do have $200 million, and some of you have heard that number before, and you're like, oh my gosh, that's our reserve fund. And believe me, during COVID, we hit that thing because we moved the PGA Championship, that hurts. We moved the Ryder Cup, that hurt. And so that reserve fund that a lot of people go, why don't you guys spend it? Believe me, we saved it because rainy days happen. And that's why I like that you guys put $16K into your reserve fund. That's a really good job on leadership to get that done, because you want at least a year's worth of expenses in your reserve fund just in case the rainy days happen. So now what we're going to do is take some of that money that we make and we're going to put it in the deferred comp plan every year, right? So we have to put the money in first. So say we put, don't hold me to the numbers, individual results may vary, but say about a $5 to $10 million dollar amount we put in this deferred comp. And then everybody does these things that you'll have a schedule of what you can do to get points. So you'll plan your year of making sure you get all your points, at least you better. And then at the end of that year, we'll say, okay, who qualified? All right, let's start cutting checks. And we're just going to say, so say it's easy, and say we put $5 million in there and 5,000 people qualify. Hope it's way more, and everybody gets $1,000. Because we do want it to be between 500 to 1,000 every year. Seth's in that financial world. He's like, man, if we can get a 500 to 1,000 a year, somebody puts 30 years into this business, they're going to have 6 digits of wealth. So how do we get there? So you'll acquire those points, and we'll say, okay, you got it. This is how much money we put in, and now we're going to put that money into your account. So now that starts kind of the other detail side of this is, well, who's going to manage this fund, right? Somebody's got to do it. AIG and VanDyck manages our Golf Retirement Plus. We're not just giving it to them. We send an RFP because this is a different financial product. And so we're looking at that right now. An RFP is going out. Who's going to manage these funds? The committee's doing their job on how do you get the points. we're hoping that in November at the annual meeting in Phoenix, that we'll have those details for you. I can't say that it's going to be fully baked by then, but it'll be really close. We do want it fully baked on January 1. At the merchandise show, we want to be able to tell everybody, just like in Golf Retirement Plus, here's what the form looks like. This is how you acquire it. You know how you get your facility forms and you check off each facility? So it'll be something like, what did you do? And your PJ member there, and we're trying to take some of the load off the EDs, but maybe the highest ranking PJ professional at your facility is the one who says, yes, this person did do PJ Hope, PJ Junior League, those points match. Boom, signing off, knowing that if you don't, it's a code of conduct or code of ethics violation, and I'll see them in the board of control. And so that form we believe will be done in January. The fiscal year of the PGA of America is April through March. I know it sounds kind of weird, but believe me, it makes sense when you're closing out the Ryder Cup. So April 1, 2023, you'll be ready to go. That's when the tournament begins, and you'll know exactly what you can do to acquire the points that you need to be fully vested to get your full share. So on April 1 of the next year, you get your statement that says the PGA just deposited this money into your deferred account. And now that all that money stays in the same bank, right, which just amasses wealth. I mean, right now, your $200 million that's in the bank, typically conservatively invested, makes about $16 million a year. And so, can we create this endowment like you're about to manage at West Palm Beach Golf Park? Can we have this huge fund that just gathers wealth, generational wealth, but at the end of the day, the PGA member gets to cash out of it, and a little bit easier than what you're doing with Golf Retirement Plus. You know, like you try to get this money out of Golf Retirement Plus, there's a huge hit if you do it before a certain age. Deferred comp allows you a little more flexibility. Once again, those rules are just all things that we'll talk to the company we hire to manage the funds. But at the end of the day, this is a game changer. I mean, Golf Retirement Plus, I've always done some things in it, and I've got $50,000 in my Golf Retirement Plus. I know PGA professionals have $100,000 in it because they've been buying from Pepsi, Titleist, Cut and Buck, and all the companies that support it. This is a different deal because sometimes if you weren't the head pro, how would you get any of the Golf Retirement Plus? What's the assistant to do? Oh, when you get promoted someday, we'll give you a little Golf Retirement Plus money. But now the assistants, they're the ones that we have to recruit right now. So now we can give them an investment tool, a money tool that says, I'll tell you what, you just do your job. You can clean carts and do the bag storage room, but if you help out with PJ Hope, PJ Junior League, PJ Family Cup, and do some other things, we pretty much guarantee you're going to have a mid-figure six-digit number in your bank account when you're 55. And man, I'll tell you, being 55 today, I think about, wow, wouldn't that be cool? My life would be changed a little bit if I had about 400 grand in my pocket. And just doing my job. So we're excited about it. We don't have all the details yet, but we will. But April 1, 2023, get your engines ready because that's when it starts. And I believe a whole nother generation of PGA professionals are going to go, wow, PGA's give it back to me. And it's just going to make us feel closer and tighter, which is where we got to be.
Very good. Either of you got thoughts on that?
Yeah. It kind of ties into Frisco and my experience at the national level recently with deferred comp and just the leadership up there. And I think, Josh, we use this phrase in Bobby Jones Links, but it's just be intentional. And I think all of these are actual examples of our leadership actually being intentional. Nothing against, Golf 2.0 and all this kind of other stuff that just kind of came out as jargon and whatnot 10 years ago, whatever. In the last several years, I think our leaders have been, and that association, they've been intentional to actually truly affect our lives. And while directly it might not affect some of our bank accounts the way it will those that are younger, it indirectly is going to make our lives easier, hopefully, by recruiting and retaining people. COVID did not create this job market. It accelerated it. We created this job market 10 or 15 years ago, coming to these meetings and bragging about how long ago it was you played golf, how many weekends have you worked in a row, how many hours did you just work yesterday at your member guest. That's all cool, and we kind of measured each other that way. Those of us that didn't shoot in the 60s, that's kind of how we kind of compared each other as to how successful we were. That's not good. Those that were hearing that indirectly outside of this room, it wasn't anything they wanted to get into. So we've got to change that. So now we have to be intentional with what our leadership is giving us and providing us to go out to that workforce and go out into this industry to be leaders and realize that what we're badges of honor aren't anymore. This is it's a different generation. It's a different age in golf. It doesn't have to be that way. It can be a profitable business. You can make money in golf. We've shown that in the last 2 years from daily fee all the way to private. There is a demand for this game if we do it right. So the deferred comp, Frisco, all these things, it all ties back into everything we do, and then the synergy, that the entire conversation from the top down, I think we see.
Yeah, I mean, obviously some great comments. One of the things I think about it is, at my club, the biggest way we've seen new members come in and want to pay dues at my facility is programming. And so when we're talking about how do we get new members into our association, it's these programs. And so for us to have these new tools over the last couple of years, PGA Coach, PGA Hope, Junior Golf League, we're seeing a lot of revenue be able to go to those assistants to come in, and we might not be able to pay them a high salary, but I know my assistant at my facility through Junior League, it's changed his life. And so when we talk about having another feather to put in the cap to show these guys that we're really invested in them, and we want to see our association grow, I mean, it's just incredible. And I think what's going on at National right now is very exciting. So.
Perfect. Well, we've got about 10-15 minutes. I've got a couple more questions, but certainly we want to hear from the floor. So, if you have a question, if you would please stand up, maybe give your name, where you're from for Don, and ask your question. Come on, somebody's got to have a question. Yep.
There we go. All right. Shawn, Koch, Atlanta Athletic Club. How is Omni and the PGA going to coexist at Frisco?
Yeah, so we don't own the golf course at Omni, right? We contractually on paper, the course conditions we directly control. So Kerry Haig and Jimmy Terry, who's the general manager there, will be monitoring that. But it's a really unique, actually kind of cool agreement that we had with Frisco and Omni and now the PGA of America. Because at the end of the day, we're kind of bringing the waterfront property, if you know what I mean. I mean, the reason it's booming in that area right now is because the PGA's coming. So they know the value of what we have. Omni, they wrote a check for $500 million. They're building this hotel, the Rowling family, and it's going to be their jewel. They believe these golf courses are going to be their Pine Valley. That's what they want it to be, which is good. Frisco, they just love us because we're going to bring a lot of activity. If you Google Frisco and see what they're doing, I mean, they're one of the fastest growing towns. They're the best place to raise a family, they say, and the school districts are amazing. I mean, that high school that's right next to the headquarters building looks like a college to me. But to answer your question, it's not uncommon, and say if people work from Troon in here, right, it's not uncommon for a management company, in a sense, to have a relationship with the hotelier, and the hotelier owns the hotel or the golf course. In Arizona, the Westin Kierland has a big golf course there, and Troon manages that. And so the way it's going to work is the employees of the hotel are working for Omni, but the golf professionals, the PGA golf professionals who work at the club there, not talking about the headquarters, but the actual golf course, they'll be employees of the PGA of America. We feel that's important because we want to make sure that they're being stewarded and coached up, and that this becomes our little mini university of doing what we do, right? I mean, we should be able to walk that walk and talk. If we're talking the talk, we should be able to walk the walk right there in that golf shop. So the relationship is at a very high level of just making sure what's our why? Why are we getting in this, right? Well, we're getting in there to bring championships because of our headquarters, to grow the game of golf, and to make sure everybody doesn't confuse us with PGA Tour members, right? And then certainly Omni's got their own financial goals, and I think that's why I really do applaud John Easterbrook, John Newkirk, even some of the work Daryl Krall did initially on this project, and certainly Seth now, of making sure that relationship between the Omni and the PGA of America is a good one. So the way it works is Omni owns the golf course. They'll own the equipment. The food and beverage staff will work for Omni. The agronomy staff will work for Omni. But they'll answer to Jimmy Terry. Jimmy Terry is the general manager on site. And so I know it sounds a little more complicated, but believe me, Troon's been doing it for years. And that's why, interesting, John Easterbrook, your highest ranking PGA professional in the PGA of America headquarters staff, your chief membership officer, who basically was employee number 6 of Troon, has been very good for the PGA of America as we work through the build out of this and the paper side of it. So it's going to be, I think it's exciting. We all got to get together. I know we're all in it for the right reasons. The most exciting part for me is that the Rowling family, who's invested in this completely, Bob Rowling's retiring and he's giving it to his son Blake. This is their Pine Valley. So I like that, right? They're going to want to make sure that it's the best. And so some of the questions I didn't answer before is, like, was the PGA member going to get a discount there? Yes, we're not sure yet. What, you get a discount in the hotel? Yes, but we're not sure what that number is. It's all working it out with them. But I think, long story short, anytime, you've got 3 groups coming in for the right reasons, and I think you can be successful then. But that's how it works. A lot of people think we own the golf course. We don't, which is a good thing when it comes to water rights and all those things. I mean, think about it. Frisco being our partner, water at some points are going to be an issue everywhere, right? Certainly in Arizona, certainly in Texas. So knowing that the town's on our side, and then we've got a hotelier on our side, and which helps us do our 26 major championships that'll be there. And then knowing that we get to control operations at the golf course is, I think it makes it a win-win-win.
Okay. Any other questions?
I have a question. Daryl, on the deferred comps, obviously it's going to benefit the younger PGA golf professional that's 25 years old. Is there any graduated scale or catch-up plan that is being considered for older PGA members?
No. I mean, the way the IRS sets up the parameters of deferred comp, you can't like one member more than the other one, right? If you make a cut, you make a cut. We did have a good question yesterday in the boardroom of, well, what if you do it for 10 consecutive years? You get your full points. Could you get a little bonus? I wrote that down. I can ask Rona and Seth about that, but no, I'm sorry, Daryl, you and I are going to miss this one. Now, we both can grow the game for the next 10 years or 20. I hope I got 20 in me. So I hope when I'm 75, I might have a little check in there. There's some time value of money going on there, right, and compounding interest. So, but no escalators, no.
Rashad.
Rashad Wilson, Advisor Director. Mr. Rea, it's evident that you're very passionate about the membership and evident that you're passionate about Frisco. But as you matriculate through towards the presidency, what is it that Don Rea is going to lay his hat on and live his legacy as moving up through the ranks as president? What are your hot buttons? What are your passions aside from obviously Frisco and the membership?
That's a good question. So I think when you run for secretary, you got, it's funny, it's like when you take over a new club, how the first day you just see so many things you want to change. But if you're scattered, you'll lose a lot of some of that credibility with the staff. I mean, so first and foremost, to me, that's what I like about Rashad, about Frisco, is, I want to spend some time with that staff. I want to know what we're about. But to measure it, right now, before COVID happened, we were 7% of the population played golf, 7%. And now maybe we're at 8. So if there's one metric, I read a good book called Good to Great, and it was about companies and what they did. One of the reasons companies went from good to great is they had a equation or an analysis, or there was some kind of way, a metric that they measured their success, which was unique to their company. And that's how they measured it. And so to me, I was like, what does it matter of how many members and all these things? If the percentage of people playing golf is not over 10%, I will have failed in my opinion. And I hope I don't fail, and I'm going to go down trying, right? But I believe we can get that 2%. I believe we can get to 10%, because if there are more people playing, then I believe everybody in this room makes a little more money. And I believe that everybody, deferred comp will be higher. More people will want our jobs because they'll see the impact on families, right? That's the cool part right now, is that we're saving veterans' lives when they come out to a PGA Hope clinic. That, whether it's family or it's fitness or it's just the mental health of what we do for golf. I mean, we do so much. And for the first time, we're actually touting the very things that we do instead of swing, stance, and score. So the 3 specific things I'm going to focus on, Rashad, to get there is Will Robbins in the PGA Modern Coach. Warren Bottke teaches Brooks Koepka. Warren Bottke he charged a lot of money for an hour lesson. And he was getting burned out. And he just happens to bump into Will Robbins, and Will says, you need to do this modern coach that I'm doing. And instead of individual lessons, let's do camps, clinics, practices, and playing lessons. And let's start valuing measuring ourselves on our not how good their swing is, but are they getting the results they want? Let's make it results-based. If you call Warren right now and say, Warren, how did it go with Will? How's your life changed? He's going to tell you he's making more money and he's working less. That's it. And so the PGA Modern Coach, I'm excited the PGA just extended Will's agreement for 3 years to literally go to sections now. The videos are amazing. You pay for Will to help you out. He charges some money for that. The deal with the PGAs, he's going to do it for free. He's coming to sections, and he's grabbing some people and saying, let's do it this way. Because the videos are great, but it's like reading a golf book. It doesn't make me a good golfer. I need a coach. Will is now that coach is going to help you with the PGA Modern Coach, which I believe is going to lead to retention, which helps us with recruitment, which, you know, I think compensation is going to happen, and then I think the work-life balance is going to get a little tweak there. So one, PGA Modern Coach. PGA Operations Benchmark, I won't talk too long about it, but it's just a way for us to measure how well we're managing rounds and revenue, which is always the major revenue driver of a facility. You know, and I think that's what separates us, because we know how to manage tee sheets, but we've never been able to prove that. So you can go to pgaob.org and learn a little bit more about that relationship, pgaob.org. And then the final thing, Rashad, is I got to speak at the Jones Cup. The Jones Cup is where the 18 PGM universities get together, and their 5 best golfers get to play, and they play in this big tournament, which is now going to be called the PGA University Championship. But before it was the Jones Cup, you know, actually in honor of just someone who was great with the PGM programs. Still going to give away the Jones Cup, but now it's called the PGA University Championship. Speaking to everybody in that room, Rashad, you know, all these young PGM golf professionals, and telling them about people, you know, and purpose, instead of measuring your success by how much you make. I believe profit and money is a result of doing the right thing, right? If your why's set up, if you've never watched the Simon Sinek video, you should watch it. You know, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. It's awesome, Simon Sinek. But I think if we get into the minds of these young professionals and say, hey, you can change lives in what you're doing, and you're going to really love this, and certainly don't want you working 70 hours a week because you got to come home to Karen and Katie, but you know, you're going to love this. You're going to forget that you're at work because you don't feel like you're working. And so I think I'm going to focus on that, Rashad, is really getting involved, not necessarily in the intricacies of how the PGA universities work, but getting in front of, like, the recruiting message. I like getting in front of a crowd of youngsters and saying, dude, 20 years ago, I was cleaning clubs, and now I own a golf course and manage another one, and I'm secretary of the flipping PGA of America, man. It's pretty cool. So I think that's a message that I'd like to give, you know, before I'm done going through the chairs.
Yeah, we'll take one more question. Yep.
Yeah, Todd Peterson, Capital City Club here. I've been in a good bit, not quite as long as Daryl, but we had a PGA national relationship. That was really awesome. That kind of went away. Then we developed this PGA Village. It was awesome. I remember playing Avon Grips Tour there. It was super special at the time. I was there for the senior PGA a couple years ago and last year. Not that special. And now we're going to Frisco. So what have we learned, and what are we going to do with Frisco differently than the 2 previous?
Yeah, I think we've learned a lot, right? And we better. I mean, did anybody play PGA Golf Club 10 years ago? It was brutal, right? The greens were dead. Go there now. We've got our PC there. I mean, the course is in phenomenal shape. We've invested money into that. So I think we learned a little bit there. PGA National, you know, that's certainly kind of a licensing deal, just like PGA West was. Just like if you remember Coyote Lakes, Coyote Village, there was going to be outside of Las Vegas, right? This whole development, which we had licensed our logo. I think that what we've learned is this. I mean, one, I think that you certainly can draw up documents, right? And try to ensure that people do things the way they're supposed to. But at the end of the day, it's all about relationship and knowing who you're dealing with, right? And so I think maybe some of the things that we did in the past, maybe some of those contractual documents weren't as strong as they should have been. I believe we've fixed that with Frisco. I think sometimes those relationships, we just said, well, you know, they got the logo so they can do whatever they want. Forgetting that they still represent our brand, right? I think we fixed that with Frisco when we talked to the Rowling family and the town of Frisco. I like the fact that we added the town. It brings somebody in who their why is the people who live there. It's the families. And so now they're tied into the success. So if there is, say, a little mini dispute between us and Omni, because I'm sure there will be. I mean, it is what it is. It's a marriage. I mean, I'm married for 20 years, but it doesn't mean I've had that many great days, right? I mean, there's been some bad days where we disagree, but we both know we're in it because we love each other. And I think when it comes to PGA Frisco, I think with Frisco being there, the town, kind of being able to moderate the discussions, go, hey, let's get back to why we're here. It was to grow the game and to have our membership here and to showcase what the PGA of America does. I think it's going to help us. I'm I'm not going to lie. I mean, I think, while I'm going through the presidency, I'll be vice president in a year. I think there'll be some discussions that we'll sit in meetings and reminding them of what we're doing. But I can tell you this, when I got elected secretary, I dove in to all those past relationships of like, let's learn from history, right? I mean, I think any leader should, even if you're the president of the United States, you should better understand how World War started so you can go, let's make sure that doesn't happen again. So I know Jim, John, and I, we've dove into those contracts for PGA National, PGA Port St. Lucie, certainly PGA West, and now PGA Frisco to say, did we take care of those blind spots? So I'm not going to say it's going to be perfect. I think that would be, I don't think it'd be truthful for me to tell you that it's going to be great. But I know it's going to. We're always going to be in the act of perfecting it, even though it might not be perfect. And that gives me some fulfillment and some confidence that you guys will go there, and just the way you feel about PGA Golf Club now, you will feel about PGA Frisco. Too much is at stake because our national championships are going to be there. All those other facilities, they've never had PGA Championship, and we don't have a Ryder Cup set up there yet because we like to see how these big tournaments play out before we commit, even to a facility that we're at. But I think it's going to help our professionals and certainly credibility in what we do and how we do it.
Very good. Well, thank you all three. I'm going to leave with one thing. If you could give one message, Cary, Don, Brian, to the Georgia PGA membership specifically, what would you like to say? And then after they give their answers, we are still wrapping up a meeting, so we got to follow some procedures there.
Well, you got people hungry.
I know.
One thing. I think it's super important that we're doing the things that happened to all of us on this stage, which is tapping somebody on the shoulder and saying, you can be a part of this. You can do this. You can get involved. You can be a PGA professional. It's up to us to find the next generation of leaders. And so it happened to me. It happened to Brian. I'm sure it's happened to Don. We need to go out there and put our hand on people's shoulders and say, come with us on this journey. Let's do this together.
Yeah, I said it earlier. Just be engaged. It's one thing to just show up. It's one thing to swipe a card, fill out a registration form, whatever. But engagement's different. That actually takes commitment. It's like I said, being intentional. Engagement, you get two-way communication. You get two-way results out of that. So it's not just be there, but be engaged and see what happens. Be open-minded.
Yeah, I think the big thing is, I was at a golfing conference and one of the management companies guys said, a PGA professional working the counter is like a doctor serving as their own receptionist. And I started thinking about, what do I do at the golf course? I mean, there's a lot of paperwork to do. I do QuickBooks, for the facility because those are things I can do. But I wasn't walking around enough. So my advice to all of us is to get out, set an egg timer if that's what it takes, set it on your phone. But just remind yourself to get up out of the desk and walk around the facility. Walk up and down the line. Right now, the people who are walking up and down the lines at most of our facilities is outside service picking up baskets and bags. And yet that's where relationship starts. That's where loyalty starts. And yet some of the young kids, they're the ones who interact with our customers the most. Work at the starter stand for an hour just to talk, walk around the putting green. So my biggest thing is we're all about relationship, but yet the way we were going to make extra money was to be bean counters. That's really how the reason you only want to get promoted is you want to turn out bean counters got paid more than seed planners. And everybody in this room, we're seed planners. That's what we're PGA golf professionals. So I think we have to get back to that. We have to start dedicating a portion of our time to the PGA Modern Coach, but more than anything, manage your business by walking around. Introduce yourself. Sit with somebody at lunch you don't know or that you've never met before at your club. And just start letting them see what a PGA professional does and where their heart's at. We're stuck in those offices, and I think it's killing us as an association. We need to get out and walk around, play more golf. Everybody says it, but it's true. We are really good at pro-ams. We are really good at just playing 3 holes with some guests. So, but even just walking to the restroom and taking the long way so that you can bump into some staff or some customers to see how their day's going. It's just, don't underestimate the rock star status that you have at your facility, because you are a rock star at your facility. So get out of that office, stop counting beans, start planting seeds.
Thank you. We'll conclude the town hall First of all, Don, thank you.
Oh,
This has
thank
been
you.
awesome. Appreciate it. Hopefully this little format was in value to each of you for being here, and it's the intent of this staff and leadership going forward is that these meetings do have value to you, and not just in MSR points, but actually something that brings attendance back up to where it used to be, and that we have this engagement I talk about. So getting into the conclusion then of our meeting this morning, there was no old business on the docket, so at this time we'll call any new business, which I'm not aware that we created this morning, so there's not any new business to cover. We'll have the open forum session at this point. If there are any topics, conversations, or anything that we didn't cover up here for the staff, myself, or the leadership, if anybody has any open discussion topics at this time you'd like to bring to our attention. All right, well, before I call for a motion to adjourn, there aren't any words, so thank you. I'm not going to say goodbye. I do this a lot, and seeing Brandon up here do this for the first time, I realize now what drove him to that. But like I said, I'm not going to say goodbye, just until next time. Motion to adjourn. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you all.